It's Tuesday morning in Monrovia. Today is the 5th of May, the 5th day of the 5th month of the year. It's 2026, and I'd like to say good morning to all of you. Thanks for always joining us. This is the OK Morning Rush on 99.5. Those of you who usually follow in the morning from distant places, be our ambassadors. Share the video, invite others in your neighborhood. If you're outside the country, tell other Liberians to follow. Share the show, share the video with them to give them an appreciation of what's happening in the country every weekday, Mondays to Fridays. It's always good to sit here and talk to all of you wonderful people of Liberia. If you're on your way to school with the kids, please be careful. Watch the sounds. Some of you hire motorcycles to take the kids to school. Yes, tell the motorcyclists to ride with care. Sometimes the kids are sleeping in the morning. Let them ride with care. Because that's the only available option. It's okay, but let them ride with care, yeah? The kids are the futures of the country. They are the people who replace us tomorrow, because we replace others. And that's the continuity of our life. In the villages, town like this, the place is quiet. People on the way to the farm in different coops. And the farm roads, the dew will fall on the grass. And sometimes you're going on the farm, before you reach, you're already wet, depending on the condition of the road. Some people will start brush the road. Some people wouldn't do it for obvious reasons, especially at some point at other terrain on the farm. You know, you leave it for some reason, not because you don't want to brush it, but there are a lot of implications, there are a lot of things. Sometimes you want to go tap the power. You don't want people to identify where the power is, so you're not going to brush that particular part of the place. We know all these things, you know. Okay, we'll take a break. Join our sponsors very shortly, and then we can come back here and continue on the conversation. Good morning to all of you. Happy birthday, people. We're taking a very short break to be right back. My name is Clarence. Just call me Piso. We'll be right back.
You want flash so you're banking. No stress, standing online.
Check out, mommy. Are we running LLA so?
Mommy, I let her. I'm going to join the bank line nah, before the place get packed.
Bank line?
Yeah.
Hey, check out, you really wasting time in the player. Oh. You not hear about the Bloomberg digital app yet?
Bloomberg app? You sure that thing really working?
My man, what you talking so? The thing working. On our app, you know, I think all you can do?
No.
You making phone, my man. So you just press small. You tap small. You can send money right away. You pay your bill. You check your balance. You can even borrow small money right on your telephone.
You mean all that thing can really happen inside the one phone?
Yeah, so it working everywhere in Liberia with HNC banking and even all around Africa. You can even use your own currency. And you know what they call currency? You can use it in your own Liberian dollar.
Then I inside for good. From today, call me Papa Bloomberg Ticketer.
My people, you all go to the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. We download the Bloomberg app so our life can be easy. My people, we ready to bloom. Oh.
You want flex or you're banking?
Bloomberg Africa, make it happen.
You want flex or you're banking?
We are brave. We are passionate.
Hey, Tanu, I need cash and there is no ATM around here.
Really? Did you try the EcoBank POS?
POS? I said I need cash. What is it about POS?
Judy, you can get your cash through the POS. All you need to do is to visit any EcoBank Express point or petrol trade gas station and request to use the POS. Guess what? It can also take other bank cards.
Widow, you mean cards from banks overseas too?
Yes, it should just be your Visa card.
Wow, great. So when there is no ATM around me, I will just use the POS to get my money fast. EcoBank has made it too easy, man. EcoBank and innovation that real 5 and 6 so.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
I say, my people, First National Savings and Loans Liberia not do it again. Oh, I say, my people, y'all listen. First National Savings and Loan Liberia not do it again. Oh,
but when I compu, why you shouting all around the place like you not found bank manager well so?
Namo, even if I found bank manager well, I would be very happy.
Like how now?
Because all the things that the First National Savings and Loans Liberia doing, it will really take away our stress. Oh.
In what way it will take away your stress?
Look, Namo, if you're looking for a good place to save your money you suffer for, or you want your money to receive good interest over a period of time, then go to the First National Savings and Loans Liberia. At First National Savings and Loans Liberia, you can open savings account, current account, church savings, Susu savings, and mobile banking. You will get account SMS alerts right away, meaning as soon you save the money, you will get message on your phone right away that you not save the money.
So Goku, the way you not do all the fancy then so what should do now if I want to open my own account?
Namo, when it comes to opening a saving account for church, school, and organization, you can call them and they can open the account for you right to your own house, school, church, or organization. If you want to pay your children's school fees, you can also do it when you call them too. Try to join them to make things easy for yourself.
I really missing good in you.
Also, First National Savings and Loans Liberia can offer you different ways to do what the poor people call fixed deposit, or to keep your money starting from 13% per annual, meaning per year for Liberian dollars deposit, and 10.25% per annual, meaning also per year for United States dollars deposit for what the poor people call fixed deposit. First National Savings and Loans Liberia. We are located on 10th Street, Sinker. Better still, you can call us on 0779 206 231 or 0886 027 466, and we will come to you. First National Savings and Loan Liberia is a microfinance deposit taking institution. At First National Savings and Loans Liberia, we put you and your business first.
When your brand needs to shine, there is only one name: Infinity Media. Raising your brand to infinity.
From advertising to printing, billboards that speak, designs that sell.
Graphic designs and branding, public relations done right, digital marketing, social media management. Infinity Media Liberia's premier advertising and printing company.
Customer service excellent, guarantee.
We are located in Technology Building, first floor on 10th Street in Sinko, the land site. Call us today on 0886 068 004 or 0770 136 101. Email us at info@infinitymedia.brz. Infinity Media, your vision, our creation, beyond limits.
The Liberia Revenue Authority, LRA, informs all taxpayers and the general public of the ongoing registration exercise for medium and large taxpayers in preparation for the transition to the value-added tax VAT regime. The registration process includes the deployment of an electronic invoicing system in accordance with Section 55C of the Revenue Code of Liberia as amended and the Income Tax EFD regulation. All concerned taxpayers are encouraged to register online on the LRA website www.lra.gov.lr by clicking on the Online Services tab, selecting GST or VAT registration and completing the registration process. A team from the LRA will visit your premises to provide support for the registration process. Taxpayers are strongly advised to fully cooperate with the LRA registration teams to ensure successful registration and smooth deployment of the electronic invoicing system. Failure to comply with the registration requirements may result in penalties as prescribed under the amended Revenue Code, including other punitive measures. Please note that pursuant to the Liberia Tax Amendment Act of December 2025, approved on March 24, 2026, the Goods and Services Tax GST rate has been adjusted from 12% to 13% as part of efforts to facilitate a smooth transition to the value-added tax VAT system in 2027. For more information, visit the LRA website www.lra.gov.lr or call 0770 572 572. Signed, Margaret P. Crote, Commissioner, Domestic Tax Department.
Tired of waiting forever for a car? Need a ride that's fast, safe, and reliable? Say hello to NASA Ride, the smarter way to move around Monrovia. With NASA Ride, you are just one tap away from comfort. If it's work, school, or a night out with friends, go for NASA Ride. Our drivers are trusted, our fares are fair, and your safety comes first. NASA Ride makes my life easier. No stress, no hustle, just ride and relax. Car rental, pick and drop, airport transfer, luxury ride, 24/7 services, daily and hourly rental. NASA Ride, located 3rd Street in Sinko, adjacent Telecel Liberia. Call 0773-882-264 or 0887-221-196. Download NASA Ride app on Google Play Store or Apple Store. Book in seconds and enjoy the ride you deserve. Remember, wherever you are going, NASA Ride takes you there. NASA Ride, your city, your ride. NASA Ride, fast, reliable, and safe.
The sun is hot and this traffic isn't moving. Worst of all, my car insurance expires today. Now I have to find a parking to stay in long queue. My whole day is gone.
My friend, why are you doing that to yourself? You don't need to go to them. Sar Auto Express comes to you. It is the fastest way to get your auto insurance in Liberia.
Will they come to me in this traffic?
Anywhere in Monrovia, just send your vehicle documents to them on WhatsApp. They will process everything in 10 to 15 minutes. You pay with mobile money or cash when they arrive at your door. No stress, no waiting, and the best part, delivery is absolutely free of charge.
So I can stay in my office, send a WhatsApp, and my sticker just appear.
Exactly. And listen, if you insure your car for 1 full year, SAR gives you a free gasoline coupon. You are saving time and getting free gas just for being a new customer. It is extra value for your money. SAR Insurance is committed to protecting you across Liberia from Broad Street and Cinco to Douala, Buchanan, and Kansas City. We are there for you. Drive with confidence, knowing you are backed by a name trusted by the central bank. Get your relief today. WhatsApp us at
0770 381293
0771 504645. Free calls on Orange 0771 111222 or Lone Star 7223. Sar Auto Express. No stress, no waiting, just simple, fast delivery.
Okay, we come back to the show. Welcome. Thanks to all of you for joining us. Let's go to our page, OKFM 99.5 and OKTV, and read some of the names of people joining us. Menipele Momo, he says, good morning. He introduces himself and says, I'm following this afternoon from Asia. Yeah, because of the time difference. Probably the part of Asia he is in the afternoon there. Kabunin B. Bayo says, good morning, Clarence. Watching you from Freeport. Marvelous P. Bangura Senior. Watching from Accra, Ghana. The Gold Coast, Alex J. Briswell Senior. I'm watching live this morning from River G County Fish Town. Good morning, Alex. Share the video, Alex. Tell others around you to follow the show too. Prince Dan Jr. is following from Dole Community. Abu A. Conan, watching from Jacob Town. Factory Sion is following from Bombing County. Shiku Jacob Jr. OKFM. I'm watching the live broadcast from Jacob Town Community. Minister Cooper Paso is following us. Luther Taylor Colette is joining us from Government Academy, Sino County. Michael E. Flomo Sr. joins us from the UL Fender campus. Francis Zekia Zulu is joining us. He says, he's watching us. Abdullah Sufran, Stephen O. Johnson, Sylvester Sokan Sr., and to all of you, Alhaji Fofanan is joining us. Makio Waman also has joined us. Thanks to all of you. Moses Monga. Morris Moses Monga has also joined us. Let's go here to the BBC. I've seen something funny about Mali, but again, it's not strange. The guy is a military leader. So, sometimes the military put up a lot of surprises. Mali's military leader, General Assini Gotal, has taken over as defense minister after the officer who previously held the post was killed in a wave of surprise attacks. The West African country remains in a security crisis more than a week after an alliance of jihadists and separatist rebels launched their nationwide raids. During the offensives, Defense Minister Sadio Kamara was killed in an apparent suicide truck bombing on his residence near the capital, Bamako. A decree read on state television on Monday said Guatal would replace Kamara as defense minister. He will be assisted by Army Chief of Staff General Usman Dawa, who has been appointed minister delegate. So the man double as president of the country and the minister of national defense. They killed the defense minister recently. It's a soldier man. So he said, I would double dare them. I will not only remain the military leader of the country, I will run the office of Minister of National Defense. two of Nigeria's most prominent opposition figures have announced they have switched parties in a dramatic political realignment ahead of next year's presidential election. Peter Obi and Rubio Kwakwaso, who finished third and fourth respectively in the 2023 presidential race, have both joined the National Democratic Congress, raising the prospect of a joint ticket to challenge President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They were previously in the African Democratic Congress, along with former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who came second in the last election. While this could be seen as a fragmentation of the opposition, supporters of the both men say it will give their alliance greater force. So apparently the elections in Nigeria next year will be a three-hall race. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the ruling party, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who came second to him, and his opposition political party, and Peter Obi, who came third, and the other candidate who came fourth, they have joined now to form an alliance. So it's going to be Peter Obi and the other candidate on one side with other small political parties. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar on one side with small other political parties. And incumbent President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on another side as an incumbent, probably with other political parties. It would have been a very good thing for Peter Obi, the other candidate, and Atiku to join on a single ticket. But again, who will be the arrowhead? And who will agree to be a running mate? Obviously, Atiku Abubakar will not want to be a running mate to anybody. He served that position before as a vice president. He has ran for president, I'm sure, 3 times, probably 2-3 times. So he will not want to be, people like Peter Obi, Atiku, he will not even see them. That's the fact. They are a newcomer to politics, to the politics of Nigeria, probably at that level, at the presidential level. So Atiku Abubakar is reasonably reasonable that Atiku Abubakar will now want to run as a running mate, and then people like Peter Obi become the arrowhead. So you see, so they had to leave. But sometimes in the interest of the country and the fact that you believe that the president in power and his party is not doing the right thing to move the country forward, sometimes you guys can sit around the table and say, it is not about us anymore. It is about redemption of the country, in our opinion. So we have to discuss, 3 of us, let's go in this room and let's take an arrowhead. Let's put aside our ego. Yeah, I want to be president. You want to be president. The other person won't be president. But it's not about us. It is about liberating our people in the context of governance. So I will bury my presidential ambition, and I'm taking the lead. I am stepping down. I do not want to be president anymore. And maybe in our room, another person will say, okay, myself stepping down, I do not want to be president. So we'll carry the man as an arrowhead. Then all of you decide and say, okay, this man is the arrowhead now, we can carry him. But you see what they are doing now? That's what they attempted doing. They joined our alliance with Atiku Abubakar. And everybody in Nigeria was like, oh, this is going to be a very big alliance that will win Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But now they have gone, they are separate ways. Mind you, President Tinubu too is no small president to Nigeria's politics. He been governor before. The story is that he has been one of those making a lot of the presidents of that country. And so that he himself is a president, is nothing small. Then here in the Gambia, one of the opposition presidents who was supporting President Adama Barrow has broken away from the president. He has left. And the reason he gave was, I think what is happening in the Gambia is President Adama Barrow is going back for re-elections. So he has now joined forces with the party of former President Yahya Jammeh, that political party that he criticized so much. Adama Barrow has gone back, and the political party of Yahya Jammeh, I am told reliably that Yahya Jammeh, I will talk to a friend from Banjul today. So he gave me a very clear picture of what the political situation is. But my first impression I'm getting from other sources is that Adama Barrow is trying to form a coalition inclusive of the political party of Yaya Jammeh. And so some of the people who initially supported Adama Barrow are saying, no, but this is not what we plan. All of us here believe that Yaya Jammeh was the worst president Gambia ever had. The political party he headed was the worst political party Gambia ever had. And so we came around you. Mr. Adama Barrow, you were just an estate developer. You were just an estate developer. You were not a mean, hardcore politician. But we came around you and made you president because we wanted Jammeh out. Jammeh has gotten out. Then you're going back to form a coalition with Jammeh's political party. But I know Barrow can argue. Barrow's argument could be that, oh, we want all Gambians and both. And for the record, Yaya Jammeh is no longer the arrowhead of that political party. So the individual has left. We can transform the generality of the party. So let me tell you something. That is the reason why when the big, quote-unquote politicians are doing certain things, sometimes it's just good to sit. Look, I had a conversation with somebody last night. And from that conversation, I was like, wow. A lot of things are going on. Yesterday, I spoke about the need for our three leaders, President Boakai, President Weah, and President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. I've always spoken about that, very passionate about that. That they should have, if not regular meetings, they should meet at least once a year. And for the discussion I had with somebody like that, it seems something just put that thing in my mouth because a very privileged person, very close to power, very privileged person I had a conversation with, and the person was saying, Clarence, it's like did you get any tip off? Why did you speak the way you spoke? I said, I didn't get any tip off that, and that is the honest truth. I didn't get any tip off. I just think our leaders should meet. But from that conversation last night, I just said to myself, politics are something else. Yeah. It's deep. Sometimes, those of you who are in these different political parties, sometimes you know absolutely nothing when you think you know something. Yeah. Sometimes you know absolutely nothing when you think you know something. Because most of you just talk on the surface. The real hardcore things that go on, sometimes we don't know about it. And in the daytime, the politicians gave you the impression that, oh, it is tossy, they can't meet, they can't talk. That joke. They're sending emissaries to each other. I don't want to go far before I start talking some things I'm not supposed to talk. Because I know over the last 2 weeks, there were meetings, there were a lot of meetings, a lot of things happening. Just sit down. Eh? I know all of you love your respective political parties. But these people, plenty of things are happening in the country. When I say plenty of things are happening, not bad thing, not war, not fighting, politically, plenty of things are happening. So sometimes you sit down. Because your leaders then will not tell you the real thing. The meetings they can go in, the places they can meet, the things they can say. I know there was a recent meeting somewhere intended to do exactly what I was talking about yesterday. But there was a deadlock, and they're still trying to see as to what additional discussions can happen. You sit down. The country deep. Politics is deep. I repeat, just at the time you think you know everything, sometimes you don't know anything because your leaders will not tell you the main thing. The impression they create is different. But don't mind them. Who told you they're not talking? A lot of things are happening. Okay, so I assure the president that I will not say certain things, so I don't want to go before something drag me. Pastor man say, ulu ya ulu. I talk and bring talk when you talk too much. But I just want you to know that continue to support your respective political parties, whether you're from the ANC, you're from Gunglo's LPP, whether you're from Boakai's UP and George Weah CDC, Simeon Freeman MPC, Cummins, ANC, whatever political party, support your respective political parties and stop making enemies. Especially you, the young people. Stop characterizing people. Stop making enemies for yourselves. There's some deep conversations, deep things are happening. Some of them you will never ever know about. Okay, so yesterday we spoke about Mark Kiliku Jabate and the manner in which he's being mocked and the kind of way people laughing at him. The latest information I got is that last night, Mark Jabate packed all his things from the Ministry of Local Government, from our office. You know, somebody who appointed in our role, Assistant Minister for Urban Affairs. So I understand the person got their green letter now, and the person probably supposed to go to work today or whatever. Except Mark Jabate post and say I lie. Or except Mark Jabate call me and say I lie on him. But I know I counter check. You know, I can trust, but I can verify, right? I counter check and I check. And I check. Last night, Mark Jabate was hauling his things from the office at the Ministry of Local Government. According to my sources, he said he didn't want to do it in a day because it will look disgraceful. You know, it will be shameful. So he talked to some of his beginning last night and he started hauling all his things from the office last night. Then, I'm also being informed that next week, Wednesday, May, I will use May because I am not Mark Jabate. Anything can change. But I am being reliably informed that next week, Wednesday, tentatively, next week, Wednesday, Mark Jabate may likely organize a program in Bapolu County where he will officially resign from the Unity Party. I don't know whether he's a card-bearing member of the Unity Party, but I am told Mark Jabate, next week, Wednesday, he may likely have a program in Bapolu with his supporters where he is planning to assemble a little over 2,000 people, where he will officially resign from the Unity Party and disconnect himself from any and all activities of President Joseph Boakai and the rescue mission, because Mark Jabate feels betrayed. He thinks that he suffered a lot for the party and the president, and they kicked him out. Nobody is listening to him anymore. And it is becoming shameful. He thinks that he has become a laughing stock in his community and among his supporters. So it will be a good thing for him to let go everything. That is what I'm hearing. Well, maybe if interventions are made, Mark Jabate will not leave. So I want to hang it there. I don't want to sound definite because I am not Mark Jabate. But these two things may likely happen. No, they won't. That one last night will probably happen already. He took his things from the office. He was holding his things last night. That one probably happening already. Mark Jabate, you go to that office now. Even a personal air conditioner, I am told that he bought for the office. I think they say he took it all and all. He took all his things from the office. The LMP issues correction on previously published global ranking information. The Liberia National Police has recalled and withdrawn a recent publication claiming that the LMP was ranked 10th in Africa and 70th globally in the 2026 World Internal Security and Police Index. An internal review has established that the information was derived from an unverified and misrepresented source, and that established communication protocols were not followed. A review of the reference source confirms that the Global Peace Index ranks countries based on overall levels of peacefulness and does not assess or rank police institutions. The position assigned to Liberia reflects the country's standing on national peace indicators, not the performance or ranking of the Liberia National Police. The LMP regrets the error and any confusion caused. The LMP is concurrently reinforcing its internal communication protocols, including stricter verification requirements, enhanced supervisory oversight, and mandatory source authentication for all internally disseminated information. The LMP reaffirms its commitment to accuracy, accountability, and professional standards in all public communication. Yeah, these things are possible. You know, sometimes you trust a particular source, and sometimes what comes out is the opposite, complete opposite. The best thing to do is what the LMP has done. However, it will be very good because the LMP is an institution that whenever it comes out with something, we're supposed to trust it. My friend Sam Collins and everybody over there, it's good to counter check. It's good to verify. Sometimes when you get this report out for the souls, sometimes if you even have the numbers or emails of people working with the institutions that work on these kinds of things, you send them email or call them to confirm, because you want to pull up anything you want to pull up, you want it to be the fact and nothing else but the fact. But the truth of the matter is that these things are possible. It can happen. Sometimes, even all of us, sometimes your souls can let you down. Sometimes you trust people, it can let you down. But sometimes you go beyond the trust and do verification. Now, this morning, I'm going to do a reflection on the senatorial election in 2029. At some point, I will talk about the presidency, but I want to begin with the Senate today. 8:15 rather. 8:15 this morning, Ambassador Alhaji Sheikh Koyate is coming here as our guest. We will talk about issues of his office and other issues of governance that will interest a lot of Liberians. So Ambassador Sheikh Koyate is coming. 9 o'clock, we will play host to senior members of the diplomatic corps. 9 o'clock, I will have with me here the ambassador of Germany. I will have the ambassador of Sweden. I will have the ambassador of France. We will have the ambassador of Ireland, and so forth. So we may likely have 4 top officials of the diplomatic corps. 4 ambassadors will be here. Now let's talk about the senatorial elections. 2029 will be a defining moment in our most recent political history. It will be a defining moment for obvious reasons. Now, recently, there are evidence of instances whereby people were senators, they got defeated, and they came back. People were representatives, some of them didn't run, or they ran, they got defeated, and they came back as senators. All these things play out. But 2029 will be a defining moment. For example, the late senator of Bapolu County, how do you call the old man that have the insurance company? He used to be chair of the committee on executive from Bapolu County. Somebody send me a name. He died as a senator. Daniel Nathan. The late Senator Daniel Nathan. Daniel Nathan was member of the Senate. He was defeated, he waited, and then he came back. Numenun T.H. Batikwa was a member of the House of Representatives of Grand Creek County. Well, he was defeated in that election. He waited. And the senatorial election, he won it. He's back in the Senate. Let's go across the country now and look at the different senators. I say it will be a defining moment because a lot of the senators who have been around all of from 2005 when they were representatives, then they transition into becoming senators, or in 2011, the movement will be so defining so that some of them will fall flat when they're defeated. They may likely not come back to the political limelight, or they may fall down flat and they will make a comeback after several years, or some of them will remain. And let me just call a few before I go to the different counties. It will be a defining moment for Senator Zoe Penner of Grand Jide County. It will be a defining moment for Senator Prince Moi of Bond County. It will be a defining moment for Senator Eddie Melvin Snow of Bombing. It will be a defining moment for Senator James Emmanuel Nukwe of Magibi County. It will be a defining moment for Senator James Barney of Maryland. These are names, even though James Banning at some point he left and then he came back. There was a period in this country, James Banning was the longest serving lawmaker as far as from the Taylor days and the days of Brian, everybody. So it will be a defining moment for these people. When they win, well, it's okay. If they didn't win, then they got to decide what they want to do. So let's go across the country. In Grand Juda County, Zoe Penner has been there. Zoe Penner won as representative, I think, third term. He was a third term lawmaker. Third or fourth term, one of them. May not wrap my head around it. And then he ran as a senator and won in 2020. Will Zoe Penner be re-elected as a senator for Grand Juda? On what basis has he always been elected as a representative? Are the situations the same as it has always been? Are there names in Grand Juda that people see differently that could challenge Zoe Penner? If Zoe Penner won the election, it would be 9 plus 9 at 18, 18 plus 18. Because I think he won 3 times as representative at 666, that 18. 9 years. So it will be 18 plus 18 at 36. So a whole lifetime. Are there names emerging in Grand Juda? One other time I was hearing about incumbent Representative Jeremiah Sokan. I haven't been able to get my hands on it yet. I am hearing about a media expert, now a lawyer. I will keep that name here because I'm still talking to sources in Grand Juda to really confirm that. But are there names that could challenge Zoe Penner and defeat him flat? Or will Zoe Penner? Because you see, most of these senators that are going by now, you see, they're in the counties, they engage. Zoe Penner is there engaged. What it was when he gave, I don't know, teacup to people, and people say, oh, why the man put a knee on it? The politics in Grand Juda is getting tense everywhere. Will Zoe Penner get re-elections? Let's go to River G County. The former Liberian international soccer star, Jonathan Sibwe, will be running for re-election. Francis Dopo is not going to run. Will Jonathan Sibwe be re-elected? Are there names in River G County that are popping up that may likely defeat him? Francis Dopo was a representative. He was still eligible to contest. That ball played real political gamble. He left the representative seat. He said, I want to be senator. What they call the old man? Francis, 1 Francis 2, Francis somebody. I just forget him from River G. He too a representative. He risked the position. He left it. He wanted to become senator. He didn't become senator. He didn't become representative. Francis somebody. Amen. My own old man. Long time forgetting his name. Francis somebody, but I know him first name Francis too. So will Jonathan Sibwe win? Will he get re-election? I see he engaged too. What role will Francis Dopo play? In fact, what kind of county is River G? Is it a Unity Party or a CDC county? Then let's go to Sino. Sino County Senator is Councilor Augustine Chie. I like to know that Francis Pay would not platform. Francis Pay, a former representative from River said, I'm Francis Pay. I will get an old man name man from River G County. Francis, I just forget his last name, but it's okay. Let's go to Sino. The current CDC senator there is Augustine Chie. I like to read the old man. I like to read his local stuff. There are strong indications in Sino that Milton Tiaje want to make a comeback. Has anything changed? Is anything changing in Sino? Will Senator Augustine Chie get re-election? On what basis? I think Sino County is a CDC county. Will the CDC help him to get re-election? Will they put up a candidate against him for party primaries? Is Milton Tiaje convincing enough that United Party may want to put him on their ticket or he run independent? Because it's clear, I think Milton Tiaje has said he's going back. What role will Creighton Opa Duncan play in those elections? Will he support a candidate? And the incumbent senator, the senators who are now running, I cannot definitely say if they support a particular candidate, that person will win, because it will be dependent on what role the senator is currently playing in his county that will make the people to listen to him or her to that extent. Francis Young, that's correct. That's the old man. Francis Young. Francis Young was represented the ran as senator. He didn't make it. That Francis Young. So Milton Tiaje, I don't know what there are other names coming up inside. No. Then I go to Maryland. James Barney is going to be running for a re-election. James Barney, don't mind him. He is politically strategic. Politically, those who follow James Barney's political record will tell you that he's no small ball when it comes to calculative politics. James Barney is going to be running for election. No. I'm not erasing any possibility that he cannot be defeated. How engaged is James Barney with his people, with the people of Maryland? Who are the other names that are coming up? Is there anybody the county is beginning to see as a challenger to Senator Barney? By the way, James Barney, I think he just graduated from the law school, or he might be no, I think he graduated. Will he run? Will he run? Is he convincing enough? Is the politics in Maryland stay the way it used to be? Will we see people like Ambassador, how do they call it, Papi? The Barack Obama of Liberia, our ambassador to Nigeria, John Balut. Will we see people like Ambassador John Balut summon something to come back here and say he want to run as senator in Maryland? Remember, James Barney supported the rescue mission. But at some point, some of the comments he made were deemed by some people as, oh, hey, looking at the mayor, he want to blow something on a new whistle. That go to Grand Crew. Who's running for re-election in Grand Crew? Like Omen Batikwa or la Abachi? I think like Batikwa. What are the other names in Grand Crew? Who's coming? Who's coming in Grand Crew? Let's go to Riverside. My former editor, my former boss, the former superintendent, current Senator Wellington G. Von Smith. G. Von Smith is from Jason. G. Von Smith hasn't spoken out publicly as to whether he will contest or not. But I'm hearing he may not contest. I'm saying may because I'm not G. Von Smith. I am hearing G. Von Smith may not contest. I am hearing G. Von Smith may not contest. And like I said, he hasn't spoken out. Already, former Minister of Public Works, Ruth Coker Collins, is in Riverside. It is no secret now that it is appearing glaringly now that she wants to be Senator of Riverside. The head of the National Identification Registry, Andrew Peters, we are hearing that Andrew Peters wants to be a Riverside County Senator. We are hearing a third name, but we cannot independently confirm that. We're still working with our sources for a third name that we are hearing, a name that could come as a surprise to everybody, that will just jump in the midst of everybody, boom. I am told that beginning next year, that person is planning to begin to venture into the territory of Riverside now. So, because if incumbent Gibbon Smith is now running, I don't know what role he's going to play. Like I said, he's not public about it yet. Ruth Coker Collins, I think it is becoming clear that she's running. Andrew Peter, probably because of his current job, he may seem not to want to show anything yet, but he has always wanted to be a senator of Riverside. But I'm hearing a third name. We'll keep that name here because we have not heard from the president or whatever. We're just hearing from rumor. Marvin Cole will say people are rumorizing that there will be a third name, probably more than that, in Riverside County. Let's come to Grand Bassa. Grand Bassa County has always been a politically tense place. until the death of Charles Walker Brunsky, Bassa County has always been a Liberty Party kind of county. Well, at some point it shifted. John Francis Whitfield became senator. May his soul rest in peace. And you know Brunsky was very strong. At some point, Liberty Party will put up almost all the lawmakers in Bassa. 2014, Benson Afile was a sitting president pro tem of the Liberian Senate when he was whipped by Jonathan Campi, who had just come from heading the development arm of the United Methodist Church in Liberia. Jonathan Campi used to be the head of the development arm of the Methodist Church. 2014, Benson Afile was a sitting president pro tem. The people of Bassa did not care for that position. They cared for the individual at that time. They thought Benson Afile was not doing well. Benson Afile was a pro tem. He was defeated by Jonathan Campi. However, he came back 2023 and paid his debt. That put there, the man said he can't do it. The man came back. He whipped Jonathan Campi. Bassa still now have got a sitting president pro tem in Senator Nyomli Kanga Lawrence. The politics in Bassa is getting tense. We are hearing about a lot of names. A friend of mine and different sources are giving me the impression that the guy working with the Liberian Revenue Authority, Gabriel Montgomery, is no small name in the politics at the moment in Bassa. It looks like Montgomery wants to be a Bassa senator. Will the Bassa people, what will they do? Will they say, okay, Nyomli is our boss say that? You know, boss say that in the Bassa dialect, it means somebody that they left with you. It's like she is the replacement of Brunsky. It's like she is the head of the Bassa people. As far as that kind, when they say you both say that, in other words, Brunsky is gone, but this is the person who left with us. This is our property. This is our own. Will the Bassa people say, you know, even though even though it is not cast in stone that even if Nyomli Kanga got re-elected, she will still be president pro tem of the Senate, because different elections can bring different political scenarios and all those kinds of things. But with the Bassa people say, well, you know, we're not going to change her, because probably if she won the election, we will still have the president pro tem. She will fight and she will win and she will become the president pro tem. But is Senator Kanga Lawrence working hard in Bassa to the extent that it's going to be a no-go zone to the extent that she gets re-elected? Because sometimes your re-election is not based on her position as a president pro tem. If it were the case, the Bassa people would not have defeated Benson Afile for Jonathan Campi. Again, maybe Nyomli is working more than Benson Afile when he was pro tem. But I'm hearing about Gabriel Montgomery. And I'm hearing that this guy is encouraging a lot of people. They're going over there and doing all kinds of things. And I'm also hearing that a very good portion of the young people are leaning to his side. Then we are also hearing about the Minister of Commerce, Madeline Dagosa. She hasn't been clear about anything yet. The last time Benson Afile was on this radio, I was trying to ask him about Senator Dagosa. People say they usually see him with her. What role is he playing? He said he will not be on the fan, but at the moment he's not definite about anything yet. So we are hearing about Madeline Dagosa, and we are hearing about Gabriel Montgomery, then incumbent Senator Nyomli Lawrence. What is clear is that, what is not impossible is that Senator Lawrence could also work her way to see as to whether to get one of these people from the race. Probably it's possible. But it will also be dependent on what impression that person is getting from the people. What role will Benson Afile play? Well, for me, what I'm noticing from Benson Afile, even though he hasn't been public with it, he has said nothing like that to me, I don't think he will support Nyomli. I don't think so. From the way he speaks, I don't think he will support Nyomli. Because he's clear that Nyomli did not support him, even though he's not saying he will not support her, but he said, but Nyomli did not support me. So what role will Benson Afile play? Let's go to Magibi County. Senator Emmanuel Nukwe was Speaker of the House of Representatives. I think he was Speaker for 1 year, 2016 to 2017, or 2015 ending to 2017. When Ellis Tyler was removed, Emmanuel Nukwe became Speaker of the House. Joseph Boakai would not name him as a running mate. They went into the 2017 election. They didn't win the election. Imaya Nukwe, he fell flat. Fell, and I'm speaking in context now. From the legislature, he did not become a member. President Weah appointed him at the Liberia Airport Civil Aviation Authority. Nukwe went there. He worked. And then he went back. This time, he didn't go as a representative. He went as a senator. In 2023, right? No, 2020. Nukwe won the elections to become senator of Magibi County. Who's in Magibi to defeat Nukwe? Will he get re-elected? Because if he didn't get re-elected, then he would take another sabbatical again. Probably, maybe he'll just decide, I think it's okay now. Or maybe you can never tell the politicians, you can tell. What role will it? Now, I don't know what Nathaniel McGill will support Nukwe. Because it is clear that Nukwe did not support McGill. That's the fact. Nukwe did not have to support McGill anyway. So, will Nukwe support McGill? What role will McGill play? But McGill will be in a high zone. And here is why I believe McGill will be in a high zone. Emmanuel Nukwe is a very good friend of President George Weah, former President George Weah. Emmanuel Nukwe is a very good friend of former President George Weah. At the moment, I am told they are still good friends. Maybe Nathaniel McGill might want to fight, but former President Weah might tell him, hit him on his shoulder and say, my man, you fight Nukwe, you fighting me. Lead that man, I'm a man. I know there are a lot of things that happen, but lead the man, I'm a man. Because I'm hearing that Nathaniel McGill was encouraging Musa Belete to run as a senator in Magibi. That is what I heard. I don't know what that's true. Musa never said that to me before. But that's what I heard, that McGill was encouraging Musa Belete to go in Magibi and run as a senator. And then, boom, there was a political thing about, you heard all the team, Musa Belete, all kinds of things happen. So, whether Nukwe will be re-elected, I don't know. I've not heard any name in Magibi yet of anybody who want to be senator. So I don't know what role Nathaniel McGill will play and what role President Weah may play. It will be a tricky elections. Bon County, Senator Prince Kemu Moi, very good political record. Like Senator Snowden, came to the land live in 2011, won as a senator. When Moi was getting into politics, initially the Liberty Party, then Bronskin was alive, the Liberty Party and the Liberty Party and the Unity Party were fighting over Prince Moi. There was an institution that projected Moi, that saw Moi. That institution is called the Jocular Concerned Citizens Movement. The Jocular Concerned Citizens Movement was the movement that brought Prince Moi up. Prince had his own had his own popularity. He was never into politics. Even though in high school days, he was student council president of Methodist High School, William V. S. Tubman Gray High School. He became the head of the Prince Moi became the head of the cafeteria, Cottington University. He will go on to become the procurement director of Cottington University. Prince Moi was a permanent business guy in Banga as young as he started. Then Ellen Johnson Sirleaf managed to hustle him from Liberty Party. He was not a Liberty Party member. He was close to going there. Then he managed and said, no, we gotta go with Ellen. I remember that fateful day when Prince endorsed Ellen and Ellen took him. She said, Bon County people, thank you for giving me your educated son, your humble son. She used all kinds of words. Will Prince Moi get re-elections? It will be dependent on Prince Moi was representative. He won his third elections, yes. He became deputy speaker. He left that thing. He contested as a senator. He won. It was how James Collette came to the picture because there was a by-election in that district. Will Prince Moi get re-elected? Well, hating or you like him, but the current Unity Party, it is believed in Bon County that Prince Moi managed to influence his party and influence the president so much so that there are a lot of Bon County citizens who are deputy ministers and in strategic positions in the government, whether it is Deputy Minister Bill McGill Jones that came from finance that gone to Minister of State, whether it is Deputy Agriculture Minister Bayan, and whether it is Deputy Minister how do you call it, about Curtis Dolly from the Ministry of Agenda, and what is Deputy Minister Selina Posey Mape. It is believed, it is widely believed in the county that Bon County now have got a lot of deputy ministers and positions in government than the George Weah regime, even though the vice president was from the county. So a lot of people are attributing that to Moe. What role will Senator Johnny Kpehe play? Will Senator Johnny Kpehe support Prince Moe? Well, Dr. Henry Tokpa is like a father to Senator Moe. Dr. Henry Tokpa was the incumbent senator in 2023, but it was widely believed that Senator Moe told Dr. Tokpa that, oh man, the way I see the thing, you got to rest. You will not make it from all my survey. It was widely believed in Bon County that Senator Moe was the one who introduced Johnny Kpehe to politics, and it was Senator Moe who brought him into the political race, so much so that he defeated Edward Kafia and the other people. That is what the Bon County people believe. What role would Johnny Kpehe play? You don't want to underestimate Edward Kafia too. Kafia ran twice, 12-year lawmaker. The other time he didn't run, and I had Eugene Colley came in the district. Kafia ran as a senator, he didn't win, but people in the county say it is clear that Kafia is running as senator. Anyway, I think I will stop here because we have to take a few calls and take our guests. Tomorrow, we will continue on this, and then the day after, we will also continue. And then, like I said to you, sometimes around July, I will compete all the other counties tomorrow. I didn't go to Bombing. I didn't go to Bapolo. I didn't go to Kitmau. I think that the counties are like, no, and Monserralo. Darrell Dillon's Monserralo. I said Darrell Dillon's Monserralo because he's an incumbent senator. He will be running for election 2029. So you see why? So that is the reason why I said 2029 will be a defining moment. Either Erdin Snow will stay, Prince Moe will stay, Emmanuel Nuko will stay, James Banning will stay, or all of them will fall flat. Then we'll have new breed of senators. I didn't even go to Nimba. Tomorrow we'll talk more about the other counties. 0777 700-995, 555-995-995, and 555-026-995. This is the Morning Rush. Coming up shortly, we'll take Ambassador Sheikh Koyate. Good morning.
Good morning, Piso.
Good morning, sir. What's your name? Where you call from?
Yeah, thank you. And me say good morning to Elder Papi Fremont District. My name is Prince Myers. I call you for Chocolate City District number 13. All the other students you having this morning.
Yeah.
Let me appreciate you for your analysis. For Bon County, in the last election, the wrong election, Johnny Kpehe campaign for the CDC. But then you always making this statement. Anytime it can be alignment and realignment, who know whether Johnny Kpehe will support the how they call it, Prince Moe? No one know. And you are asking whether Grand Dealer, whether it's the CDC county? Yes, Grand Dealer is the CDC county. The senator
and I was also asking all the county whether the situations are still the way they used to be.
Yeah,
because in politics sometimes it
there will
changes.
be alignment and re-alignment and alignment.
I didn't even go to Lofa County. You know what I noticing recently? Senator Councilor Joseph Jala. Even associate with CDC again. When people call him CDC knee on him, he can be running away from you. I listened to the man on ELBC when Emmanuel Colley was engaged in the Ome about CDC thing. The man said, "No, I can't for President Bwaka and my uncle." I said, "Oh, the papi."
So, Clarence, let my thought.
Go ahead.
You, the men are brought Councilor Jala to permanent in Lofa County, the deputy speaker. Now he go away. So, what you expect Councilor Jala to do? He would dance. He political master, the deputy speaker. So
okay, but as to whether the Unity Party would trust him to be on their ticket, the Unity Party, remember, Brani Samuka still won't go over there and become senator. Hello,
Mr. Jackson.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let me say good morning to His Excellency President Bwaka. This is Samuel D. Keprona joining from Magui.
Yeah.
So, I'm only army or Unity Party in the Ledger Bureau. Let me appreciate you for the analysis for the county perspective, especially from the senatorial post 2029. So, I think you may not have heard about Vandana Patrick, but he's somebody who is an intellectual.
Oh
and
yeah,
he's
no,
known as
I know.
advocate who want to run in Magiri.
I forgot, but Vandana ran. Vandana ran. I don't know. He came what place, but he ran.
He's still running. He's still running. Last time I have an interaction with him at the Kagatan Central Intellectual Forum. He was actually exact that he's running in the country because he wants to end the rescue the country. So I think Magiri for sure there will be competitor, but I think Emmanuel no say had a ground for what.
Okay, thank you. And I forgot to even mention Vandana Patrick and EFL leader Emmanuel Gonkwe. Gonkwe ran there too. Hello.
Yeah, good morning, Clarence.
Good morning.
My name is Abbas Funi from Senior District Bomikan. The question clap for you this morning. The reason why we always do to OKFM in the morning and in the afternoon to listen to the good show in the Republic of Liberia. Thank you for the analysis.
I will come to your county bombing tomorrow.
Yes, but finally, let me just conclude.
Go ahead.
Honorable Snow give me 2029, anybody pull for that Honorable Snow will beat them.
Okay, my brother.
Thank you.
There's a guy over there called Alaman Soko Dolly. Anyway, I will come to bombing tomorrow. Hello, this is the final call. Hello.
Good morning, Clarence. How you doing?
I'm good.
Okay, speaking to you this morning, it's Money Bread from Lane Street, North Junction.
Okay, Money Bread. Let's hear the bread.
The bread friend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in my country, Riverside County, the name you're talking about, we waiting to hear that name. Yes, we waiting to hear that name because there are a lot of names over there that fight over that one little country and no
I didn't even know. People sending me a lot of information about different names in the different counties. Tomorrow we'll come back. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and just nothing can be seen in that country.
I hearing about one councillor, Kukuyon Tie. They say Kukuyon include mean big man. They say that man not easy.
You see trouble there? Go in my country now. Excavator failure in the place, they spoil all the rivers there. Nothing happen in that place. Don't go for them. Let them go there.
Okay. Finally. We can keep the ambassador here waiting. Finally. Hello?
Yes, good morning, brother.
Good morning. I didn't know there are other names in the different counties. Tomorrow, Lola will have a repeat them before we can move on. Go ahead.
Good to be back. For Maryland County, that county is MPP County.
Okay.
So, James, you have Jico, you have one Wilson from CDC. They are all contesting a senatorial candidate in Maryland County.
Okay.
But being the Senator Barney, I've already played his cards always in the youth grouping.
Mm-hmm.
I think he will come victorious, even though myself I'm contesting district number 1.
Oh, your own you clear now, Kuba?
Yes, I've played that long time.
Okay.
I'm tired supporting people now.
Okay, we will talk. Look, tomorrow I will repeat. I will come back to the different counties because names are emerging. Before we move on, I will come back to the counties that I talk about. I'll go back to some of the counties because I hear about they Kuku. A lot of people sending me information and they say, then somebody told me something, Jenna, that I would think about. They say, watch out for Funanti Kufa. That's something to think about. Okay. Ambassador Sheikh Koyate is here. The Liberia First Movement, right? Political leader is here. Ambassador, good morning. Man, I'm meant to see you now. That's not,
Good morning, my lovely brother, Clarence.
We used to be very good brothers, but I don't know whether we still brothers.
I call you most of the time, but you're always busy, and I understand.
Look at him. How is life?
We are grateful. We are grateful that we are alive. We are grateful that we are healthy. We are grateful that we are among the few people, among the 5.6 million Liberians, choosing to work with His Excellency Joseph Yumabwaka. And we are grateful that our people are now gaining consciousness.
Okay. I see a video of you go viral on social media. You were talking tough, in my words, at an occasion. Where was that? What was that occasion?
The occasion was at the Italian Parliament, where the topic was immigration and investment. And they had a concern of having the inflow of youth from Africa crossing to Europe. And at the same time, they were discussing the issue of investment in Africa, that our people crossing to Europe was causing more problem for them because their budgets, cannot contain the inflow of immigrants. So they were asking, what are the solution? And that video just shot, a short part of it. It's a 7 minutes for the 8 seconds video. And I was one of those invited in Africa to speak and give idea and what are the solutions. And during that event, we had the speaker of the Italian Parliament there. An event occurred at the Italian Parliament. So I said that Africa is a great continent. Africa is a continent of nobility. And Africans are great people. And Africa is a continent of dignity. If you see the inflow of youth from Africa crossing the Mediterranean Sea, 60% of whom die in the process, it's not that they love Europe. It's because they have been deprived of opportunities in their own continent and in their own countries. And based on that, they had no choice because the government is not providing for them, is not protecting their interests. And the reason for such is that those agreements that have been signed in the name of concession, which are referred to as concession as tantamount to colonialism, are agreements against the African people for the European people. So when you are there defending the rights of the European people, you are there accusing people of committing human rights, crimes against humanity. You are committing more crimes against humanity because you are stealing, aligning with our politicians to steal our natural resources, deprive our youth of jobs, deprive them opportunity. They have no choice. Many of whom have become drugs addicts, not because they want to become drugs addicts. Many of whom have become on the political praise singers. They don't choose to be that, but they had no choice but to cross to go to the Atlantic Ocean to seek opportunity, because when raw materials are taken from Africa, they are taken to Europe, and sometimes, sadly, Europe even take it to Asia to create jobs for the people of Asia, while the Africans who deserve, who own the land, who own the natural resources, are unemployed. And when I spoke on those issues, after the conference, the speaker personally invited me to his office. And he said to me, "Why are you brave?" The way he spoke. And I said to him that I am not brave. I'm just honest to myself and being honest to you. And he said to me that we will work with you. We will work with your parliament to see how we can work together collectively to resolve this issue. So he asked me, what are your recommendations? And I said, my recommendation number one, if you don't want the young people of Africa to be crossing the Mediterranean Sea, many of whom died in the process, is to allow the raw materials you take from Africa, at least let 30% be industrialized. When you have 30% being industrialized, and we have factories in Africa, and our African people are paid salary, they have no reason to go to Europe.
But Sheikh, why didn't you shift some of the responsibilities to the African continent too? Now,
you asked a question.
I still continue the question. Now, like you said, these young people and everybody's leaving Africa, going to Europe for greener pasture and all those kinds of things. Now, these people, what is stopping us from making good laws, Sheikh, to invest in our country? For example, now in Liberia, right? We continue to cry that our mining laws are killing the country. What is stopping the government from amending laws and making good laws to ensure that there are more employment opportunities that the European people can make law for?
And let me tell you something. The reason why I addressed the European Parliament as I did, I was very conscious indeed. I was very normal. And I was very much aware that I was in front of the Europeans. And I know that they have been playing major role in ensuring that many of those agreements and these agreements we have now signed, many of them will impose on our governments, on our legislature, and threaten some of them that if you don't do this, we will not support you for next election. You know, many African government is more concerned about next election rather than next generation. And so I had the opportunity to speak to those who are the instigators, who are the manipulators, to speak our mind to them. Now, just speaking as Sheikh Kuyate at that forum. I was not just speaking as an ambassador Lige at that forum. I was not just speaking as a Liberian at that forum. I was speaking as an African. I was sharing with them the agony of Africa. And they agreed. They agreed to what I said. And that's what they asked me for solution. Then when it comes to Liberia, our country, our dear country, the war concession is tantamount to colonialism. Why is it tantamount to that? Colonialism is a process where a group of people will forcefully take a land of a people, take the natural resources, capture some of the people, enslave them, have them to labor for them on their plantations, on their mines. That's concession. That's being forcefully done. And at that time, that country or that land is now recognized by the United Nations as a sovereign state. So because it is now recognized as a sovereign state, some nations took advantage of that and did what happened. It even happened to India. When we talk about colonization, India was colonized. Africa was not the only continent colonized.
Do you think...
Then we go further. We always brag that Liberia is the only country that was not colonized. But Liberia is also the only country that was concessionized.
But we said we were colonized.
No, we
said we were colonized by the American colonization society.
No, by history, by record.
Okay.
By record, we were not colonized. By record, we were concessionized. And how are we the way we are? Firstly, when we were given independence, we were not given independence because we wanted independence. We were given independence because America at the time, the war had decided to abolish slave trade. And America at the time began to understand that there were some African Americans who were there, were becoming attracted to them. They were becoming very vocal. So their fear was they never wanted them to become rebellious against them. So they found a land where they could carry them. It was not a mission of humanity. It was a mission of separation, to ensure that we have to separate these people from us before they give enlightenment to others who are here, before they rebelled against our people. They took them to Sierra Leone.
When do we move
Sierra
away from
Leone,
this
we are
thing,
going
shit?
to that. Sierra Leone was not conducive. There was a lot of mosquitoes. They came to this land called Liberia. And there were people here in Liberia. But then we had people who had a belief, who believed in God. But then we had schools here. We had library here. And when they came, they landed at the Providence Island. When they landed there, the land there was occupied by Liberians. Because I don't like to say native of Congo. Well, occupied by Liberians. In short, we agreed that we are one people. And we came up with a slogan that we call motto, that the line of liberty brought us here. Knowing very well that the line of liberty met many of us here before the settlers came. The interesting thing about it is the Liberia Foundation is not granted on education. Liberia Foundation is granted on indoctrination. Those who came to us, they only told us about religion. They told about Christianity. They told us about Islam. They never educated us. We only accept whatever they said to us. Our biggest problem in Liberia is concession. From 1847 up to present, no Liberian president has defended the Liberian people. No Liberian legislature has defended the Liberian people. Every concession agreement signed in Liberia from 1847 to the present government headed by my leader, His Excellency President Joseph Numa Boakai. None of these agreements have been for the Liberian people. And I personally share these fears, these concerns with His Excellency Joseph Numa Boakai. I didn't stop there. When the new Minister of Mines was appointed by the President, I went to him and shared with him, and he assured me that we will establish national mining corporation so that Liberia can participate. That Liberia can be a partner, not just accepting or receiving royalties.
When do we stop shifting blame? Who's responsible for our honor development? We have, and I'm talking particularly to Liberia, we have a lot of natural resources here that other countries don't have. when you go to Namibia, Rwanda, and those people, they have rediscovered themselves. They are attempting to develop their country and educate their people. But government come, government go. We're still complaining about the same things we complained about 30 years ago. The governments and the people in the governments are repeating the same thing. Sometimes I ask myself, is it about change of leadership or about change to positively affect the lives of the people? When do we stop complaining?
We will not stop complaining until we conscientize our people. Our people must be aware of the reality. You know, politicians like ourselves, like myself and others, we will always convince the people that we have the best platform, that when we are elected, we will change their lives. But Liberian politicians have all political parties in Liberia have the same agenda. Liberia problem is never the presidency. Liberia problem is never election. Liberia problem is who we put in power. Let me tell you.
But then
frankly,
it is the presidency,
because
our system of government, it makes the president the most powerful president in the country.
Our problem in Liberia begins with the legislature.
How?
The legislature is a direct representation of the people. Their duty for which they are being paid for is to speak for the people. The duty for which they are being paid for is to defend the people. The duty for which they are being paid for is to protect our sovereignty, is to dignify our people. But our lawmakers, they never pass any law when they are not even paid. Just recently, there was an addendum on the budget, the budgetary law, or the budget, or now national budget, to come and see how they can address that, to increase some budgets. They had to be paid. One of them confessed on the recording that happened. Liberia,
I think he's being investigated.
Yeah, Liberia's biggest problem is the legislature. They believe, we mistaking something. The people are the leader. We are not the leader.
Who does the spending on our laws?
Who does the spending?
Mm-hmm.
The executive.
So on our law, it seems the executive is more powerful than any
the executive
of the other
does not
branches of the government.
spend when it is not approved by the legislature. That is an interesting thing. If one of my discussions with President Boaka, for every time I sit with him, he always say, I don't know what can we boast of as being an independent state from 1847 to now. What can we boast of as a nation? Look at our infrastructure. Look at the livelihood of our people. Look at our youth, how they are. He's more concerned. So sometimes,
but he should fix it now.
Yeah, he to fix it on our democratic, on our form of government. It's very difficult for one man to fix it. It requires collective engagement, collective efforts to ensure that it is fixed. And Liberia problem is the government. The government, inclusively. The executive is part of that. The judiciary is part of that. The legislature is part of that. But the legislature is a mean person, is the CPU of our country. They will decide this for the people because they are the one that directly represent the people. Imagine, I never knew that the legislature was so powerful until they expelled Honorable Yeke Kolba. So the question that came to my mind is, if these people are so powerful that they have now begun to expel one of them for making unpatriotic statement, for saying that our land that belongs to Liberia, that belongs to another country, our neighboring country. The fact that he was impeached for that, then I begin to ask myself, where were they when former Speaker Fonete Kofi broadly stated during an interview with Spoon TV that for every budgetary allotment, their committee set up, the committee will ask ministries and agencies that what do you hide for us?
To collect money.
To collect money. That was unpatriotic. But they were silent. At the time they were fighting, we thought that they were fighting for the people. But the fight was not about the people.
You think so?
The fight was for themselves. It was for power. And since they got into power, they didn't take any action on him. When Speaker Kuhn was officially, legitimately elected by his colleagues as a speaker, I requested an audience. When I went to him, I said to him, congratulations, Mr. Speaker. But remember that you are no longer the Speaker of the majority bloc. You are now the Speaker of the House of Representatives. And Honorable Speaker, I know you see how our young people are suffering. If they don't say I will say Amanda and give you praises, you never recognize them, you never give them scholarship, you never give them opportunities. For so long, our country is being stagnated. And not stagnated by other people, but stagnated by the legislature. Honorable Speaker, I pleaded with him. I was not alone. I had a young lady who went with me that day to meet him. I said, Mr. Speaker, can you renegotiate every concession agreement in the interest of Liberia so that our people can be dignified?
It is the,
so
it is the executive that negotiates those agreements. It comes to the legislature.
My brother, the legislature has the power to renegotiate. The executive, yes, approve, but the laws are made by the legislature. When I made a statement to him, you know what he said to me? He said, Ambassador Kuyate, this is also my dream.
Is he doing
this
that?
Is my vision.
Is he doing that?
When he said it, I said, thank you. I left. The following day, I sent a letter to him, a letter of reminder, and thanking him for receiving me. After a month, I sent another letter. After another month, I sent another letter. After 3 months, I sent another letter. After 2 months, I sent another letter. I wrote him 5 different letters, no response. Then I didn't stop there. I wrote the President pro tempore, the same communication regarding the concession. No response. Whenever I met President Bouaka, I will always remind him that, Mr. President, you will succeed, as I know. But if you failed, it will be one area, your inability to ensure that concession agreements are renegotiated. Because if we don't renegotiate all concession agreements, we will not have the Liberia we deserve. There's no need for Liberia to be shamelessly begging IMF. You know, when I heard the Minister of Finance, who is one of my mentors, Augustine Gaffwan, one person who actually mentored me when I was in school, who guided me, who identified me as a brilliant young person. When I heard him on the radio the other time, jubilating about receiving a loan from IMF, I kept asking myself, are we normal? In Namibia, who got independent recently, can now clear herself from IMF debt.
I was reading recently. They
cleared herself from IMF. Botswana and other countries around Africa are now getting themselves from IMF. Ghana is in the process. I already applied to withdraw from IMF. Liberia, the oldest country in Africa, who led the independence of many African countries, is now referred to as a beggar state. What is dignity? Even the Bible, read the Bible. It is written in the Bible that the hands that give is a blessed hand. What about the hands that receive?
So, Sheikh, then my question to you is, so what's changing under your president? What's changing under the government you supported? You were critical of the WIA regime. You will come to this show and criticize WIA months after months, weeks after weeks. But there is a public discussion that some of the very things President WIA did are being repeated by the government.
You know, this is my first time being interviewed by you since I took over. But I can say to you that I have been very vocal. The good thing is that my relationship with President Bouaka is a genuine relationship. It is not a political relationship. It's a relationship based on principles. And when we even gave our support to President Bouaka, it was not given to him because he's a leader he's a standard bearer of the Unity Party. We didn't give him vote because he's a native. We didn't give him vote because he's popular. We didn't give him vote because he was the most qualified candidate. We gave him our vote because we believe that he's the most matured, most experienced, and most wise person among the candidates. The 2 candidates that were contesting at the time for the runoff. And we requested 4 things for him. What were those 4 things? 1, we said, Mr. President, we want you to be our Liberian president, where you will not address your partisans, you address Liberians. Mr. President, we want an inclusive government where people be brought on board, not because they are from a party, but because they are based on their qualification, they be brought on board. Mr. President, we want the War on Economic Crime Code to be established. When that is established, it will serve a deterrent for would-be warlords. Mr. President, we are asking you to dignify Liberia, to protect the integrity, the sovereignty of our nation, to protect the integrity of our government, to rebrand the image of our government, renegotiate all concession agreements. And Mr. President said to me, these are all you want? I said, yes. There was no agreement between Liberia First Movement and the Alliance or between myself and His Excellency President Joseph Bouaka for position for myself or anybody in my party. The discussions were just about Liberia.
Is he doing those?
And when he took over, honestly speaking, I believe that President Bouaka is a man to be trusted. President Boakai requested 4 things for him. When he took over less than 3 months, the World Economic Crime Code was established. He invited me in there. And when he shook my hand before he stayed, he said, nephew, do you remember what I said to you? I said, yes. He said, now I'm doing it. And I'm having here to testify that, yes, it's happening. Mm-hmm. He did that. And I said to him that the second one is to be a Liberian president. Since he took over, President Boakai have never mentioned himself as Unity Party president. Mm-hmm. He had never addressed Liberians as fellow UPs. Thirdly, President Boakai has an inclusive government. He has people in government who are not from a party, who didn't even support him, and many of whom people thought that could not be around him. He has them around him. For example, the Minister of Foreign Affairs was a presidential candidate. During the runoff, she decided to be neutral, to observe the process. When President Boakai won, because of international connection, because of her experience internationally, he brought her closer and made her the dean of his cabinet, Minister of Foreign Affairs. That's the most powerful minister. In our contemporary politics, she's like a prime minister of our country, not from the Unity Party alliance. That was third. The fourth one is a concession which yet it's been difficult for him. And I asked him, what is it difficult for you to do this? He said, our governance system does not allow me to unanimously, come out and make a decision. But I can pursue the legislature. I can pursue other members of the government. I said, but the legislature is like a supportive arm of your government. What can you convince them? He said, I don't want to convince them because they support us. I want them to be conscious enough. Speak on these issues. Let them come out and say, you know what? We agree that there's a need for change. And we have been doing. And besides that, I also wrote the president. As ambassador at large for special duties, working under the office of the president, I've done that. So I didn't do those things because I'm the best.
Where's your friend? Where's your brother? P.L.O. Lumumba.
Professor Lumumba will be here next month on the 15th of June to come and pay courtesy visit to His Excellency Joseph.
Does he know that you work in the government?
He's aware that I work in the government. He knows everything. We speak every day. We speak 2-3 times a day.
Let's move on, Sheikh. Ambassador Sheikh Koyate is in our studio this morning as our guest. Why it is true that there are no visible signs of conflict in the country, Liberia's political process since the cessation of hostilities in the country is deeply rooted in division. There are a lot of people who think this country is not reconciled and that the president of the country, a given president, a particular president at the time, should lead the charge for reconciliation. I too believe that. And I've always said that it would be good if we saw Joe Boakai, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and George Weah in a room locked up and having conversations to move the country forward. They may not agree, but the fact that they will be in the room. Is Boakai attempting to reconcile the country? Do you think so? Let's get your honest opinion.
I believe that President Joseph Numa Boakai Sr. must be the one to lead this process. As the president of a country, you are disengaged automatically with every political institution that you have. You should be seen as a father of a nation, a mother of a nation. You must be seen as someone who speaks for all, represents all. He is not representing a district, nor is he representing a county. He's representing the Republic of Liberia. And his only political party that I know that he's aligned with is the Republic of Liberia. And that should go to all of us in government. All of us in government must understand that we are no longer a political party. Liberia Constitution does not represent any political institution. It represents the Liberian people. It represents the sovereignty of our country. What I want to say to you, my brother, President Boakai, if he has any challenge in his leadership, when it comes to rules, he's building rules for our people. When it comes to uplifting the livelihood of our people, yes, he's doing that. When it comes to international image, yes, he's doing that excellently. But what I do know, his challenge that I do know, is that President Boakai has a challenge to reconcile this country. Reconciliation of this country will not begin with anyone else unless our leaders. He's more experienced, he's more age, he's not someone who to be seen as a knowledgeable person, but he's seen as someone who is wise. And I believe that's what I called recently. I went and visited the political advisor told the president, I went to our house, honorable, a senior political advisor to the president, I went to her, said,
You mean Mandela
I
Cooper?
said, Your Excellency Mandela Cooper. I said, you are the political advisor to the president. And your role is to ensure that there's no political differences in this country. Are you aware that our two presidents are speaking? She said, yes, I'm aware. I said, how do you feel as a political advisor, being in the office of the president? What advice are you giving to the president? Because I have a limitation. The president have those who advise him. He has people who can go and represent him. You are the one to represent the president and like a special advisor to the president on this issue. What are your roles to do this? She said to me, I can assure you that we are discussing with former Madam President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. We are putting a committee together to see how we can handle this between May to June. It will be resolved. And I stated to her that this does not require a committee. What it requires is that the president will have to leave alone with his wife and call Mr. Weir that I'm coming to you to see you. Let him go to Mr. Weir's place. Let Mr. Weir block the gate.
Or call Mr. Weir and say, I want to see you.
I want to see you. And that will do nothing to our president.
You said that to her?
I said that to her. And I didn't stop there. I called Senator Nathaniel McGill. I said, Senator McGill, he said, I said, how do you feel today? He said, I'm feeling fine. I said, how will you feel when you leave this government or you leave this planet? The man you work with, the man who trusts you, former President George Mani Weir, is not speaking to the current president. And
how do you know they're not speaking?
They're not speaking, my brother.
Okay.
This is clear. Liberia is a village. We all know one another. We are all connected somehow. And he said to me, yes, it's challenge. I said, can you arrange for me to see Mr. Weir? And let me speak to him. Let me tell him, what needs to be done. He said, we arrange it, but what you said, Sheikh, I do agree with you. Liberia will not be united when our leaders are not united. So I'm saying to you that the problem will come to disunity in our country, that problem is wholly and solely our leaders, including myself. Current government officials, and I even talking to our past government officials, what that is being seen on Facebook is young people being paid to insult former government officials, or young people being paid to insult current government officials. Our information ministries is not focused on providing some technological information to our people. It's not concerned about providing some information showcasing what the progress of our government to the Liberian people. It's not showcasing how great Liberia is. It's not showcasing, it's not elaborating every day and elaborating on the agenda of the government, but it's more concerned to always rebuke the statement by Mr. Weir. And we all know Mr. Weir as a person that whenever he takes a mark, he will say something that will be very annoying. But I can say something to you. When I look at President Boakai and I look at former President Weir, it reminds me of a story that my grandfather said to me. He said there were two leaders. These two leaders, one was very sophisticated in terms of agriculture, and the other was sophisticated in terms of warfare. And they decided to live together amicably to resolve their differences. So the man who was
I hope you make
strong,
it short.
The man who was very strong when it comes to welfare, he decided to send a protocol to the one who was strong agriculturally that there's a need that they come together. He wanted to provide him some equipment, medical equipment. He also wanted to get some food for him. So when the envoy went to that other person, the advisor to the president, to the other leader said to him, you will see the president tomorrow morning. What he did, he prepared a breakfast with garlic. When the man ate the garlic, he said, oh, you're going to see the president? He said, yes. What you do, you have to cover your mouth because he doesn't like the smell of garlic. Because if he smell garlic, he will kill you. So going there, the gentleman decided to cover his mouth with garlic. When he covered his mouth with garlic, and the president asked him, what is it he has come to me, and he's speaking to me, and his mouth is covered. And the advisor said to the president, Mr. President, he says you smell bad. Immediately, the president said, I'm not going to do anything with him. There's no treaty. I don't want to see the other president. And they catch the guy and put him in jail. He'll be executed. Time to execute that guy was the next day. The advisor who advised the president had gone on an errand to someone else. When the man came out, and the king was saying to him that you will be killed now. And so that people can know that I'm not the man who smelled. He said, Your Majesty, I do not see you as someone who smelled. I had a breakfast with garlic, and I was told that you don't like to smell garlic. That when you smell garlic, you feel very bad. And I was advised by your advisor to cover my mouth so you couldn't smell the garlic. And when the king realized that, he put him back in the cell and called a gentleman. When the advisor came, he said, "Why is this man? What did he cover his mouth?" He said, "Because he said you smell bad." They put the man out and pulled that advisor in and executed him. The man was free, and the two leaders got together.
You say that to me,
you. What to say to you that there's no personal problem between President Boubacar and former President George Weah. The problem they have is that those around them do not want them to have peace. Those around them, the only way they can feel that they're loyal to them is to lie to them, is to mislead them.
Do you know that you're a government official?
I am a government official, but guess what? I am not a government official who has come with a position. I've come with a responsibility. And the reason why the president brought me on board, because of who I am, because of my principle. He didn't bring me any interest in it. The president, His Excellency Joseph Yuma Boubacar, never consulted me even before appointed me.
Why don't you meet with President Boubacar and sell to him the idea of reconciling with President
He will
Weah?
do it. He and I spoke about this. He would do it. He would definitely do it. I can tell you, he invited former President Weah past July 26th. He didn't attend. He invited him during independence, July 26, 2024. He didn't attend. This time, if he doesn't want to attend, the President Boubacar himself will go to him to his house and say to him, "I am bringing you this letter myself. I'm inviting you, and that day I will be the one. I will recognize you and honor you on the independence."
So you
day.
think the people around the two presidents are the reasons?
Yes. There's always a case.
They don't want
peace of mind. A lot of people write.
But they're all Liberians.
Guess what?
Why you think they don't want them to reconcile?
Because when these two people connect and reconcile, President Boubacar will learn from the mistakes of former President George Weah, and he will begin to correct his mistakes. Ghanaian former Prime Minister is under investigation. He will be arrested.
Ofori attack.
Yeah. But yet, the President John Mahama, who was treated so badly by his man who he succeeded, the two of them always have meetings. They visit one another. They sit down on national television. They laugh about things. So that gives the Ghanaian people the hope that there's a need that we reconcile ourselves. I can tell you, all the North in this country, the day our two leaders begin to come out together, having discussion, having dinner together, having national reconciliation program, this country issue of division would be over completely.
Sheikh Al-Haji Koyate is the ambassador for special project?
No, I'm ambassador Allied for special duties.
Okay, Ambassador Allied for special duties in the office of His Excellency the President. He's our guest this morning on the OK Morning Rush. He's talking. He says, look, President Boubacar is doing a lot of great job, but on the issue of reconciliation, the president needs to do better. And he says that what between the both is not him, President Weah, it's not personal, but the people around them do not want them to meet to reconcile, because if they did that, the country will be stable. 0777 700-995 555-995 9 o'clock, 4 ambassadors will be here. The ambassadors of France, Germany, Sweden, and Ireland. They will be here as our guests. Hello? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, good morning. Let's hear you.
This is Ali Kia, the National Chairman of the Indomitable National Youth Congress of the AMC.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to the studio guests. I disagree with him in some key areas, especially when you complain about issues that the president has the power resident within himself to solve. The issue about complaining about the situation of the young people in the country. I think the president is the most powerful man that can drive that narrative and ensure that change happens for the young people of this country, because that is the only seat that everybody in the country can vote for. For the House of Rep members, people are voting per constituents. So on paper, the legislature is the first branch of government, but in terms of power, the executive carries the power, because everybody in the country goes and votes for a single person to be president, but everybody can vote for a single representative. Now that's one. The second issue is that on the question of reconciliation, I think the president has comboed his ability and his legitimacy to reconcile the country.
Okay, thank you. Reconcile the country. Thank you. Let's go to Brussels. Hello?
Hello, good morning, Clarence.
Good morning, Adrian.
And good morning to your studio guests. I just want to disagree with the big brother in studio. I think Africa should stop putting blame and shifting blame on Europeans and try to take responsibility for your own actions. Those concessions that are being drafted are never done by the Europeans. Neither did the Europeans hold the hands of our lawmakers to draft those concessions. So the responsibility of us Africans is start to hold our political leaders and politicians, corrupt politicians, accountable for some of these bad concessions and start to do the right thing. Let us stop searching blame on Europeans or the Western world. They have done nothing. They did not tell you to be unpatriotic.
Okay, my sister. Thank you there.
Thank you, my sister.
From Brussels in Belgium. Hello.
Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning, Clarence.
Good morning.
The Uncle Shaban here.
Yeah, so Bani, let's hear
For
you.
me personally, to the guests that are in studio, let's start really behind it in Korea. I mean, what do you want to prove? What do we want to prove?
You call it running behind President Weah? What you call running behind?
We will show you a butt.
No, Andrew, please. I gotta cut you off. And you are an elderly person. I didn't expect you to use that kind of word. Please. You can't do that. You are an older person, man. You in your, I don't know. Hello?
Good morning, Piso.
Good morning.
Good morning to
Yeah?
our listeners radio now.
Yeah?
This is the rescue chairman, Credit Momo Joseph,
Yeah.
and the ambassador for the jobless and disenchanted rescue soldiers.
You say ambassador for jobless?
I am the current ambassador for the jobless and disenchanted rescue soldiers.
What you mean jobless now? All of you also get job?
Listen now, Piso, that is my portfolio. And you have another ambassador, but quite to the issue. Let me
Oh, my man, you disenchanted question? Okay, but go ahead.
I've been working, putting all our disenchantment together as we speak. Many of them have already consented their own board to rescue this country together, but that is my status for now. I will invite my office next month when I open my office. So, go to the issue. So, time will add number, we have 30, and at the end of the day, and by the way, Monora, your complaint is in the president's office for denying us appearing on your show.
Who president?
Your complaint is in my president's office. First of all, let me say this. We need to be honest when we come to the day school. I know Sheikh, Ambassador Sheikh Kuyate very well. I have been in some of his meetings when he was political leader for his party. But then, if Sheikh Kuyate would tell us yesterday that he put on board 25 cows to this country, the money he paid on board for the 25 cows, the baby cow, he couldn't use some of that money to help pay small children.
You say he brought 25 cows to do what? You say he brought 25 cows to do what?
He brought 25 cows, the baby cow from Guinea. He brought them from Malawi. I don't know which country. But he said to us yesterday he brought 25 cows in this country. Now, if you pay money for
25 cows to do what now? I mean,
he was better explain that to you.
but if the man a businessman, he brought cows to sell, what wrong with that?
No. I'm coming back. If you can transport 25 cows to bring this country, you cannot use some of that money to help on this council issue. That is number one. Number two, he said the president has failed to reconcile this country. What has been done as
I'm not sure he used a word. Fail. I'm not sure he used a word. But anyway, go ahead.
But what is there? People can say the recording. Now, what has been done in your own capacity as ambassador Allah to start the reconciliation time from country to country, from station to station? What have been done in your own capacity?
Okay, but you didn't listen to the man talking about he called this person, he called that person. Hello?
Yeah. Good morning,
yeah.
I'm Clifton Hilton.
Okay, Hilton.
And let me say a pleasant good morning to the ambassador. I couldn't have agreed any further on the issue of in the North Shore, Africa, wake up.
Okay.
We are still faced with neo-colonialism across Africa.
Okay.
And especially being hijacked on the issue of concessions, our concessions. I think it's about time we treat the issue of concession across the daily work of the country of a national emergency. Because currently, when Mr. Salif was in power, prior to her leaving power, the last time I checked, we had about 66 concessions across the country in full sectors: forestry, mining, and you name it, public-private partnership, agriculture. At current, I think we have less than 40 active concessions across the country. And we're interested to know, Clarence, that about all of these concessions, not even about, but all of these concessions are in non-compliance.
Okay.
All. And this is simply not that the law is not there, but the willpower to implement, to stand up for our people. Even people
but when the law is there, then why enforcement can become an issue? Why?
Yeah, because take for example, and this is an age-old problem, not just today. Somebody goes to a concession company that is in arrears with government. Perhaps they have not paid community fees, they have not paid royalties at a certain point in time. Environmental issue becomes a problem. They conduct all of these monitoring activities, and at the end, it becomes difficult to publish the full report gathered from these delinquent concessionaires.
Okay, thank you. No more call. Let's go back to Sheikh, and then shortly we'll take these ambassadors. Ambassador Koyate, let's hear you.
Fellow Liberians, you know that all of those who were asked, I think they make a commendation. The one person was concerned. He made I think it's a caution, right? Let me be very honest with you. I never said that President Bouaka has failed in reconciling Liberia. I stated that he's challenged. The greatest challenge he has in leadership is reconciliation. And I'm sure that he's working towards that. But let me just say something to us here. My statement at the Italian Parliament in Rome was not shifting blames on the European people. Every concession agreement that have been signed, our lawmakers have been bribed by those European companies. And the person who laid the foundation for bribery in this country, modern Liberia, is Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Where the first contract with Accelometer, they gave our people pickups. It was only one senator, Franklin Siaka from Bon County, who refused the pickup.
I think Besson God gave it on to the Labor Commissioner in Basel, something
no,
like that.
But Franklin, you know, when you receive, the moment you receive, what do you give it to?
Franklin Siaka refused.
Franklin Siaka was the only person who refused it on ground that he cannot pass an agreement against the Liberian people. When we imagine with Accelometer issue, I mean with our M&G, we call it Beer Mountain. Beer Mountain declared 900,000 kilos of gold per month. That was declared. So let's assume that is 900,000. How much does Liberia have in it? We want a Liberia where we can have industrialization. Our natural resources must be industrialized. Why must we give out our land
Your government should take the lead now.
Our government
you are in power now.
Our government is doing we do the best. That's why I'm in government. I'm speaking this way. And I'm calling on every Liberians. Let's disengage ourselves with the issue of partisan. Let's focus. Let us not be distracted. Let all of those who are in government should understand that there will be former presidents, former lawmakers, former ministers, but there will be no former Liberia.
Thank you.
In the name of humanity, one Liberia, one people, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ambassador Sheikh Koyate. Thank you so much. We're taking a very short break. We'll be right back.
Are you ready for an electronics upgrade? Get ready for more Samsung. Hadid Electronics, your sole distributor for Samsung product in Liberia, is thrilled to let you know about our Samsung showroom in Congo Town. That's right, located opposite Executive Car Rental and adjacent to Platinum International Hotel. Our new Congo Town branch is your destination for all things Samsung. Step into our stunning Samsung showroom and discover the latest and greatest. We've got Samsung televisions globally acclaimed in every size imaginable. The world's #1 brand Experience breathtaking visual with our 4K Smart TV. But that's not all. When the heat is rising and you need it cool, step into comfort. Make that smart move. Samsung air conditioners, the best in town. Fast cooling power that brings temps down. Anti-corrosion, built to last. Quality and comfort, unsurprised. And if you need help, don't you fear, our service center is always near. Upgrade your kitchen with the latest Samsung gas stove and make laundry day a breeze with Samsung advanced washing machine and dryers. Our latest Samsung microwaves are here. Keep your food perfectly fresh with Samsung ice boxes and freezers. Here's the biggest part. For a limited time, enjoy special offer on all Samsung items at our new Congo Town showroom. Don't miss out. Rush now to Hadid Electronics Samsung showroom in Congo Town before stocks run out. Call us today 0886 511 005 0777 511 005. Hadid Electronics Samsung showroom in Congo Town, adjacent to the Platinum International Hotel, where original Samsung product live. Are you ready for an electronics upgrade? Get ready for more Samsung. Hadid Electronics, your sole distributor for Samsung product in Liberia, is thrilled to let you know about our Samsung showroom in Congo Town. That's right, located opposite Executive Car Rental and adjacent to Platinum International Hotel. Our new Congo Town branch is your destination for all things Samsung. Step into our stunning Samsung showroom and discover the latest and greatest. We've got Samsung televisions globally acclaimed in every size imaginable. The world's #1 brand. Experience breathtaking visual with our 4K Smart TV. But that's not all. When the heat is rising and you need it cool, step into comfort. Make that smart move. Samsung air conditioners, the best in town. Fast cooling power that brings temps down. Anti-corrosion, built to last. Quality and comfort, unsurprised. And if you need help, don't you fear, our service center is always near. Upgrade your kitchen with the latest Samsung gas stove and make laundry day a breeze with Samsung advanced washing machine and dryers. Our latest Samsung microwaves are here. Keep your food perfectly fresh with Samsung ice boxes and freezers. Here's the biggest part. For a limited time, enjoy special offer on all Samsung items at our new Congo Town showroom. Don't miss out. Rush now to Hadid Electronics Samsung showroom in Congo Town before stocks run out. Call us today 0886 511 005 0777 511 005. Hadid Electronics Samsung showroom in Congo Town, adjacent to the Platinum International Hotel, where original Samsung product live.
Okay, this is the OK Morning Rush. We are setting up. We will have with us here 4 ranking members of the diplomatic corps, the ambassadors of France, Germany, Sweden, and Ireland. Will be in our studio this morning. We'll be talking about Europe Day. We'll be talking about Europe Day. And so we are setting up. By the time we get through setting up, and they will come in, then we can have the discussion right here on the OK Morning Rush on 99.5. Today is Tuesday, as a matter of fact, and it's the 5th of May, 2026. Let's take some songs. We'll come right back here. We're trying to set up when these excellencies come in, who will take them right here. No one does it better.
But you got to be strong if you
Okay. Liberia's friends are here. Liberia's partners are here. Today we talk Europe Day with Her Excellency the Ambassador of France and His Excellencies the other ambassadors from Germany, Ireland, the Chargé Affairs here, I'm sure, the Deputy Ambassador, okay, and others. They will introduce themselves. We'll go around the table. Because of the capacity here, I'm sure another person will have to come in sometime later. But it will be all about Europe Day. These are privileges you always yearn for. To have these great people assemble here and you talk to them, for me, it's history making. We'll be right back. Okay, this is the OK Morning Rush. Yeah, you got to keep on trying something of the 80s. Sometimes I like to spin these songs to, so the young people know exactly that our people used to be together. We'll start from right here on my far. I know the ambassador of Germany been here before. I know my friend has been here before, but we'll still go around the table. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. I am Isabelle Le Guelec. I am the ambassador of France to Liberia.
Good morning. Thank you for the invite. I'm Jakob Hasselhuber, the German ambassador to Liberia.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Karl Macéus. I am the Swedish ambassador to Liberia.
We'll do that again, sir. We have small technical issue. Yep.
Okay. I'll try again. Cool. Good morning, everyone. My name is Karl Macéus. I am the Swedish ambassador to Liberia.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Culligan. I'm the Deputy Head of Mission at the Embassy of Ireland, standing in for our ambassador today.
Yeah, Kelvin, my good friend Kelvin. How are you?
Very good.
Okay.
Very good.
Madam Ambassador, how are you? How is that? Okay. So
Thank you.
Last but not least, I'm Zoltán Saleh. I'm the Chargé of the European Union here.
No, it's not possible. I'll do something. Can get him soon. I'll do something. Madam Ambassador, how are you? How is the embassy? How is everything?
Everything is fine. Everything is thriving. In fact, we have, as usual, a lot of on our hands, and we are busy. Lots of movement. It's very nice. Thank you.
Okay. Have you gone outside Monrovia before? Where?
Oh, a lot. I'm just back from Robertsport, and we were, in fact, with the EU team trip, annual EU team trip in Grand Cape Mount last month. We did a mission, France, the Embassy of France, with the Liberian authorities, LRRC, LIS, and some UN agencies in the 4 eastern counties on the issue of migration. In the east of Liberia. So yes, I'm every month since the beginning of the year, I've been out a lot.
That's good. Mr. Ambassador, how is everything? How is the German embassy here? How are you?
Thank you. Just like my French colleague, busy, interesting times, traveling in order to get to know Liberia outside Monrovia.
Where have you been?
Well, recently we had this EU trip that Madam Ambassador described. We saw about 10 projects in 3 days in Grand Cape Mount, in Bomi and Barpulum. Last year we did the same in Lofa, 2 years ago in Maryland. And apart, I myself go a lot to see the small projects that we have.
That's good. It's a good thing that sometimes you leave your comfort here in Monrovia and go out. The Ambassador of Sweden?
Yes.
Where have you been to? How's everything?
I'm fine, thank you. No, but similar to my colleagues, we also travel out and visit the different parts of the country. And like you said, it's important that we get out of Monrovia.
Yeah.
I recognize that what we're trying to do here is support Liberia, and supporting Liberia is more than supporting Monrovia. So we really need to understand what's happening in different parts of the country. And as they mentioned, we had a very good trip to Grand Cape Mount. Last year, we were up in Lofa, all of us together. And,
really?
Yeah. I've also been to, like my colleagues, down to the southeast, to Maryland, and visit that part of the country. So yeah, we do get around, and that's part of one of the nice things about this job, actually, that you manage to travel around and meet people from different parts.
Where do you like outside Monrovia? Where do you appreciate outside Monrovia?
Personally, I think that Robertsport is truly a gem in this country. It's so beautiful. But also, I really like Patawi Falls up in Bon County. Yeah, it's a beautiful spot. We've been there a couple of times. So, yeah, there are many beautiful parts of this country, really. And lastly, I would say the southeast has so much potential for tourism. There's so many beautiful areas around Harper that unfortunately
Around Harper?
Yeah, that are a little bit more difficult to access perhaps, but I mean the nature and the scenery is just stunning there.
My friend Kelvin, where have you been? How is everything outside Monrovia too?
I'm doing very well. I've been through quite a bit of Liberia. I think so far my time here in 7 of the 15 counties.
All 15 counties?
7 out of 15.
7 out of 15.
Yeah. Most recently I was in Bon County and then Lofa County to visit some of our programs, our partners who work on governance there. And yeah, I would say that I've been to Lofa County twice. The Irish Embassy has a particular connection there because there are 2 Irish nuns, Irish sisters, who've worked there for over 20 years. And I would say Lofa is probably my favorite county.
Lofa is your favorite?
Yes.
Why? Is it because of the nuns?
But yes, but also it's a little bit higher, a little higher elevation. It gets cooler at night, which I find quite nice because Liberia is a little bit warmer than Ireland. So it's a bit more like home for me.
So you like Lofa because it's a little bit cool at night. Let's hear you too, sir. Where have you been?
Look, I'm a bit handicapped here because normally I'm responsible for the political work, and we have a lot of colleagues who are responsible for the development part. So naturally, they have much more opportunity.
So it's like you are kind of Monrovia man.
Yeah, I'm more a Monrovia man from this point of view.
That's good. I just wanted to hear a little bit. Madam Ambassador, where could be your favorite outside Monrovia? I didn't ask you and the Ambassador of Germany.
My favorite part of Liberia, it's difficult to say because I loved every trip that I did.
Wow.
Yes.
Is there anywhere that attracts you most?
I like to go to Kokon because it's a Kokon Eco Lodge in
The
Marshall.
Eco Lodge, okay.
Yes, because you have all this little trip on the Farmington River, and then through the mangrove, and then you are very isolated. A little trip in the savannah, and it's very quiet. So I like this place.
And Ambassador Jacob, let's see you.
Well, my first trip in the country when I arrived 5 years ago was to Nimba. And similarly to what Kevin said about Lofa, I appreciated the climate, of the Midlands, not the same heat and the salty air like in Monrovia. But I really liked both places that we already mentioned, Maryland on the one side and Robertsport on the other side. And in both places you have memories of President Tubman. President Tubman's mansion in Harper, and then the art center, the African Art Center in Robertsport, which is now going to be rehabilitated as a vocational school with funding from the European Union and aid of the government.
That's good.
And of course, Lake Piso. Lake Piso is
Piso.
just a wonderful spot of
a place to
nature.
Be. Ambassador, you putting your hand up. I thought you said everywhere was it.
Yes, but my German colleague reminds me of something. I also spent a week in April in Sapo National Park.
At the Sapo National Park.
Yes, and I really want also to underline this because Sapo, Liberia has a huge asset in terms of forest conservation and biodiversity conservation. And it's a great touristic place also, an opportunity for Liberia to get some more tourism. So yeah, Sapo was the true experience, let's say, of the forest and nature of Liberia.
Oh, wow. And I'd like to say welcome to all of you and happy Europe Day to all of you. Can somebody just briefly explain to us what exactly do we mean when we say Europe Day? What does it represent, and how is it usually celebrated?
Now, I would say that 9th of May is the birthday of the European Union, and almost exactly 76 years ago, a gentleman called Robert Schuman delivered an extraordinary speech on that very day. And this speech was extraordinary because this gentleman suggested a treaty, but not for the shelves, but something which will really work and which will be capable to solve a kind of tension and wars which raged Europe for almost 100 years. And what he suggested was revolutionary: share at that time coal and steel, which was the main material used for tanks. And in this sense, sharing with these two basic materials, he made wars in Europe or inside the European Union not only unavoidable but impossible. And I think in the last 6 years was just basically showcasing us that it really worked. And then the process went on. So the European Union grew step by step. They shared more and more things: trade, politics, borders, whatever. And right now we see a European Union which is one of the global powers, I can say.
Okay. This year, Your Excellencies, this year marks the 76 years since that declaration. What does this movement continue to matter in today's global context, for example? What does it continue to matter? Every year you celebrate it, you come together to celebrate. What is it about it?
Okay, so I will also pass the floor to the others, but for me, the example and the recipe, what we offered, basically sharing values, sharing basic issues, and integration is a recipe for peace. And I think if you are looking right now at the global stage, it's more important than ever. And I think this recipe might be valid for a number of countries. I think for Africa as well. You can see ECOWAS is partly inspired by what we did in the European Union, and I think this kind of thoughts and logic is what we are as the European Union offering to our partners worldwide. And you can see, I mean, there are a lot of, right at the moment, there is a lot of global players, the US, China, whatever, Russia, but India, but what we are really specific in the European Union, that this is a union of 27, and hardly anyone can accuse us that we have any kind of background agenda, hidden agenda. With 27, it would be very, very difficult. So I think this is all unique thing. So what we are, this is a value-based union, and this is what we are offering for our partners.
Does anybody want to add?
Yeah, maybe if I can, on the
Go ahead.
perspective between Germany and France, we have had hundreds of years, centuries of war. And if you look at Alsace-Lorraine, a territory that went forth and back and forth and back, we had historic moments like the coronation of the German Kaiser in Versailles, a humiliation for the French, and then the Versailles Treaty, which was felt by the Germans as a humiliation. And you cannot go on like this, you know, a continuous history of wars and humiliations. And I think the reconciliation between Germany and France was at the core and at the beginning of European integration. It cannot be overestimated. That's one thing, and to complement on what our EU colleague said, if you look at Europe, at the European Union as such, 76 years ever since the Schuman Declaration, in peace. We have not had war among each other anymore. This forms a stark contrast to what is happening now in Iran, in Lebanon, but also to crises elsewhere.
Okay. You? Anybody can add? Okay, so you want to add, Kelvin?
Yes, maybe just to speak about the EU and
Go
Ireland
ahead.
briefly. So when Ireland joined the EU in 1973, we were the poorest country in Western Europe. We're a very conservative country in a lot of ways, and we were a country that there's a conflict at the time on the island of Ireland in Northern Ireland. And the EU over the last 50 years has played a transformational role in all three of these areas. So Ireland, in large part thanks to EU investment, has gone from being the poorest country in Western Europe to one of the richest in the entire European Union. The EU, along with many other partners, such as the US, played a role in helping to bring peace in Northern Ireland and then helping with post-conflict stability there. And Irish social activists were able to use EU laws and regulations and point to examples in other EU countries in order to liberalise a lot of Ireland's more conservative laws and turn Ireland into the progressive, forward-looking country that we are today.
And maybe to add also something, so we see that in the construction of Europe along those decades, peace is important, but also development, as my Irish colleague said. I just want to complement or to echo what my German colleague said. Today we have a strong Franco-German cooperation also inside the EU cooperation. With many projects, I will just cite the cultural and field. And this is, we are also trying to reflect that in our cooperation here on the ground in Liberia by creating a space where cultural exchanges and youth through, for example, study in France, study in Germany, study in Europe, can have some information, and it's going to be also a space which will be open to all our EU colleagues. So, peace, economy, and the cooperation for development for all the opportunities of free movement, like in ECOWAS, for the studying everywhere for the youth. So that's what Europe also brought.
Okay, let me go to Ambassador Bakuts. I hope I'm really pronouncing the name. Are you jointly going to do something for the celebration? Are there highlights that we should watch out for? Are you individually doing the celebration?
I can try to answer that a little bit, and then I think I'll pass the mic to my colleague Zoltan from the EU delegation, who is more in top of the program. But we actually started already last week. We had an event at SKD Sports Stadium here in Moravia, where we had some sports games. We had a competition, for instance, between a mixed team from EU member states and the delegation and representatives from the government, where there was a kickball game and there was also a football game. So we had some fun and games together on that day. We are hosting, or rather the EU delegation is hosting some additional things for university students, where we will meet them later today. There's also engagement with high school students around Monrovia to allow them to interact with people from the EU and ask their questions. So we try to do some outreach like that, but Sultan can perhaps add something.
Kelvin, you want to add before we go to the EU political person?
There's not much more to add. Carol done a very good, Ambassador Baku's done a very good rundown of the different events, several of which I have been at and will be at as well. I will pass on to.
Yeah, let's hear from you. Give us a picture of the celebration this year.
So, but basically, what we are trying to do every year is not to just concentrate on one day, but we would like to use the opportunity of this birthday of European Union to have a kind of extended program, to make it a EU week or even a EU month. And also, I mean, it's a symbolic message that as much as we can, we are trying to do in a Team Europe format, so together with our member states, because basically the European Union is the union of its member states, and we are not a kind of separate entity. So it also brings an important message, what we would like to transfer, that the EU is, although we are sometimes very, very different, even we do not understand each other jokes sometimes, we are speaking different languages, but we are united in our values and in our celebration of the EU. Now, right now, we have a pretty tense program. From here, we will go to the delegation, where, as Carl already mentioned, we will meet with students. It will be a very informal meeting, so it's not something we want to have a dialogue. Yesterday, I went to the Foreign Service Institute, where it's basically the think tank of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, where I had a very nice discussion with the students and the colleagues over there. Today we will also have a meeting at the University of Liberia, where we will discuss the importance of the European Union. We had a sporting event. Some of our colleagues, Kevin, played in our team, and we were very successful.
Kevin played.
Kevin played. Isabel played, and our book, because we had a football game.
The French ambassador, you play?
Of course.
Yeah.
You want to put the mark? You play?
I played kickball.
You play kickball?
Yes, I discovered kickball, and
Wow.
I really wanted to participate,
I
so
know.
I was all in it.
Kevin, what win did you play?
So I was playing in the football match with the EU and EU member states against the government of Liberia, mostly MFA.
Did you score?
I did not score during the game as I was playing centre back, but I scored our first penalty in the penalty shootout.
Look at it, man. Penalty.
I looked one direction and sent the goalkeeper that way and put the penalty the other side.
Look at it. I like that. But let me come. Let's talk. Let's. I want us to. Yeah, we'll still come to talk about the celebration. But Liberians listening to all of you will want to have an appreciation of what your respective countries are doing with partnership in partnership with the Liberian government. Ambassador Isabella, I'm concerned about what specific areas of bilateral cooperation does your country currently share with Liberia? For example, France.
So France is very much focused on youth and education and TVET. So that's our first area of intervention through the Agence Française de Développement, French Agency for Development, with, of course, the Liberian partners. We also have a large launched project in December, a few months ago, on forest and biodiversity on the Wologizi-Wenegizi area in Lofa. We have projects in health. We have a very good partnership with the Ministry of Health and the Liberian Board of Nursing and Midwifery.
Okay.
Urban development, also different areas, but
That's
those
good.
are the main right
area.
now. Yes, and also women empowerment and in the rural communities.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ambassador Horst Huber, what's the area? Germany.
Brilliant pronunciation.
Thank you.
But if I look back over the past 10 years, we did a lot in energy, like, for example, Mount Coffee. We did a lot in education, like, for example, Bento City, the vocational...
Oh, okay. You're behind that Bento vocational training.
It's EU and Germany.
Okay,
yes, exactly.
that's good.
The Gateway Vocational Training Center. And then health, particularly in the southeast. I was in Svedro a couple of months ago and inaugurated together with the VP the new county referral hospital. And currently, these projects have come to an end. Currently, we are in multilateral engagement through the EU, through the World Bank, through the African Development Bank. And we have some GSZ projects which are still running. One is on resource governance, that is about the natural resources of Liberia, and the other one is about renewable energy, especially in the countryside.
That's good. Ambassador Bacchus?
Yes.
Sweden.
Yes, thank you very much. I think unfortunately I must start with the bad news and I think that's well known that unfortunately the Swedish embassy in Liberia is closing. That doesn't mean that we're leaving Liberia, we're not severing ties, but it will mean a change of our cooperation. But if I look at what we've been doing over a number of years, I was just starting to list them here, and it's actually quite a long list, so I'm going to try to be very brief. But, we've been working, for instance, since we're here on the radio, we've been working with radio. Working with journalism training, and we've been working with something it used to be called ECOWAS Radio, which is across the country, again, because we want to reach beyond Monrovia. We've been working with organizations, civil society organizations. There are many very strong civil society organizations here. We've been working with some of them on accountability, democracy, how do you work on that? We've been working to support agriculture and livelihoods across the rural areas of this country. Gender equality has been a key topic for us that we've been working with, ensuring maternal health. We've also been supporting technical and vocational training, for instance, up in Lofa at the in the Voinjama, the multilateral high school there, which has been built with Swedish funding. We've also been working with the government, for instance, through the Ministry of Public Works on rural roads, and with the Liberia Revenue Authority to strengthen tax collection, for instance. So it's quite a long list.
Yeah.
I can go on. I
Yeah.
don't want to take up too much time, so I think I'll stop there.
Kelvin, Ireland.
Yes. So similarly, I'll try and do the short version because we've supported a great variety of areas during our time here. In the past, that would include our electricity supply board, providing support to the Liberia Electricity Corporation on the electricity grid. It would include, going further back, Irish UN peacekeepers serving about 2,700 tours of duty here with UNMIL. It would include our support, along with Sweden, UNDP, and the European Union, to the Liberia Electoral Support Project, supporting the most recent elections here, and the National Electoral Commission. Right now, we have 4 focus areas for our development cooperation. That's in our mission strategy, which is available on our website, and I have a copy here as well for everyone watching on the stream. Those 4 areas are governance, so building transparent, inclusive, and accountable institutions. It is gender, so supporting women and girls in being able to better access sexual and reproductive health and rights. It is nutrition and food security, trying to decrease people's vulnerability to that. It's something very important to Ireland because Ireland has also, in our past, we suffered a great famine in the 1800s, and ever since then, hunger and food has been a big part of our work abroad and what our diaspora does as well. And then the 4th area is, of course, something very current and will continue to be important for Liberia moving forward, which is the area of climate change and resilience, and helping to increase vulnerable communities' resilience to the impacts of climate change.
Okay, yes. Anything you want to add? But I mean, they're all EU member states. But anything you want to add?
Yeah, so I think it's important to stress that the European Union and its member states are one unity, one union. So everything we are doing on behalf of our member states. These are European taxpayers' money which we are spending here, and I'm pretty proud that, I mean, there's a lot of synergies between, we have a constant dialogue with the member states, so we are trying to make synergies what we are doing here as the union and on a bilateral basis. And I'm very proud that I think right now the European Union, together with our member states, we are the largest donor and partner in Liberia.
Okay, Kelvin, let's go like this. I'm also concerned from individual country perspective, from an individual country perspective. What do you think are the most promising opportunities for investment and trade, for example, between Liberia and Europe?
So, certainly speaking, I can't speak on behalf of Germany or Sweden or France, but speaking from the Irish perspective, there's 2 big things that stand out that make Liberia a promising opportunity for trade and investment. From Ireland's perspective, one of those is very simple, sharing a common language. Both Liberia and Ireland are English-speaking countries, and that makes it easier to form business-to-business and people-to-people connections and eases transactions. And then the second thing would be Liberia's long record of peaceful democratic transitions of power. I think what all businesses value, almost above all else, is certainty, and Liberia offers that with its political stability. Politics in Liberia is obviously very competitive, but it is ultimately competitively stable, and that is so important to any business looking to invest here.
Ambassador Bacchus?
Yes, thank you. No, I think Kevin's last point is very important, the fact that you need a stable and good business environment. But definitely the opportunities are plentiful in this country, in agriculture, in all of the natural resources that we have in this country. I know your previous guest here this morning talked about concessions, and I know it's a tricky area, so I don't want to get into that. But there is definitely a lot of potential there, just to ensure that whenever is done, benefits definitely Liberia as well. And, you know, Sweden has a proud history in that respect, I think, with the Lamco investments up in Nimba in the 60s and 70s. And I'm happy to note that there is still some Swedish business interest here today, but we definitely want to see more of that, and that's going to be a key focus for us going forward, to strengthen business ties and investments even more between our country and Liberia, and between Europe in general and Liberia.
Ambassador Hassi Huber. Yeah?
Thank you. Well, I see chances and challenges.
Okay.
Chances, for example, in the field of agriculture. I always use the example of chocolate that we consume in Germany. And we have had very successful projects in Ghana, in Cote d'Ivoire. So in Germany, you nowadays find chocolate from those two countries in the shelves in the supermarkets, but none from Liberia. So the same holds true for coffee. There was a sort of coffee which was called Liberica, or still is. You don't find it, you find Arabica. So these are certainly two fields which would generate income in the country, which would keep people in the countryside and avoid them from fleeing, so to speak, to the cities. On the other side, there are challenges for investors, say those who want to come here and reside here. As we know, foreigners cannot buy land. They have to pay now every year $3,000 for the work permit. They have to pay for the residence permit, for the re-entry permit, and they cannot acquire the citizenship. So again, chances and challenges.
I know. Ambassador Gulick?
Yes, for France, there are a number of companies here. There is a French business club. There is, so with some 12 to 14 companies, which are also members of the European Chamber of Commerce and working closely with the Liberia Chamber of Commerce. So we are very interested in the opportunities regarding renewable energy. There is an issue with energy in Liberia, access to electrification, etc. So this is something which interests European companies a lot, the programs on hydro and solar, for example. I think we have also very good space with IT, with Orange, for example. But mainly the thread into that is youth. Liberia has a very young population, like many countries in Africa. And so the investments also go there on the training, the education, the training. And interestingly, as Kevin, my Irish colleague, talked about the language, France is also investing on French language teaching, because we think that in Africa in general, because of history of colonization by England and France mainly, the two languages are, if you master both languages, it's an asset. You have more opportunities in the West African region, in the ECOWAS region. You have the mobility and the opportunities. So that's something we put the accent on, youth and language too.
Well, this is the Morning Rush. We have of us distinguished members of the diplomatic corps. You know, we have the ambassadors of France, of Sweden, of Germany, the deputy head of the mission here from Sweden, and we have someone from the European Union office
Ireland.
here. Ireland. We're talking this morning. Now, let me just ask both of you before we go back to the celebration. If each of you were asked about where our potential is as a nation, Kelvin, what would you say?
Where Liberia's potential is as a nation?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so Isabel has already spoken about the large youth population here, and that is a tremendous asset for Liberia. But we look back into Ireland's own history, going back 20, 30, 40 years ago, it was young people who drove our economic boom in the late 80s, 1990s, which, as I mentioned earlier, kind of was one of the things, along with EU support, that helps transform us from one of the poorest countries in Western Europe into one of the wealthiest now. The youth in Liberia, that is the same potential resource. There just needs to be the job opportunities created, the educational opportunities provided in order to allow that to happen.
Okay, Kelvin. Ambassador.
Thank you. I think I would start by saying I don't think it's just one area where there's potential. And my German colleague pointed to some of the areas, other pointed to others, and I agree with all of them. There's definitely potential. Like you said, you need to harness the youth there and the capabilities that are there, and in agriculture, etc. I think another area that I would mention is tourism. But I think a thing that for me also stands out in Liberia are the people you meet here. The culture, it's very, very open. It's very friendly. It's boisterous, it's loud, but it's also, like I said, extremely open, and people really want to, get to know you. And that, I think, is something that is such an asset. If you can channel that, there's great opportunity to really do great things.
Ambassador Hubert, let's hear you.
Well, I would like to continue the argument of this Swedish ambassador. I think the main potential of Liberia is its people. And when I look back at the...
It's people?
It's people, the Liberian people. When I look back at the elections in 2023, which were peaceful in their conduct and which were the first ones to be held without UN presence, it showed the will and the aspiration of the Liberian people to live in a democratic society, in a society where power is controlled. And to come back to youth, there's a lot of youth who want to enter politics, which in a way is good because they want to participate in decision making. But in a way, it's a bit problematic because not everybody can become a president. So
I like that.
We also need youth who become self-employed, who look at the private sector, who take the risk, who go for capital, be it lent from a bank or assembled elsewhere, but who foment the local and the grassroots economy. So that you have both aspects. You have the political side and you have the economic side.
Ambassador Zibala?
Yes, I think Liberia, I see two great lines of potential huge development. One is on the economic side. I think Liberia has a lot a lot to do in developing its small and medium businesses. Sorry, we launched. EU launched a program, a project on the private sector development, which is implemented by Expertise France, on the development of those micro, small, and medium businesses. There is a whole area where Liberia could put in place, create a small industry to begin to transform your productions and so add value to it before exporting. So in many areas. Okay. So and give jobs. And the second area where I see potential is totally different, is that Liberia is coming back forcefully on the international scene in the diplomatic area. Liberia is now on the UN Security Council seat. And there are many reforms for the UN Security Council issues in the world right now, where Liberia can take fully its place as a resilient and democratic nation.
That's good. Before we go to the telephone lines, can I get a French visa here in Monrovia?
Absolutely, you can. Okay. Since November 23, we opened a small VFS application center, Visa for France, in Royal Grand Hotel. Okay. And we just opened beginning of April because unfortunately our Swedish colleagues are leaving us for this visa section. We don't have one at the embassy, but it's still processed in Abidjan. But now we can also accept all, even professional diplomatic service passports since April 7. So it's all in Royal Grand Hotel, the old hotel. Okay. And it seems it works.
That's good. A German visa here?
No, unfortunately, one has to travel to Accra in Ghana. We're in the process of digitalization of our visa system, but we start with bigger embassies in bigger countries, so it will take some time it will eventually come.
Okay. Well, at least you can go to Ghana to do that. The process, everything will have to be done in Ghana, or you start here online and then you go to Ghana?
For the moment, you can start the process here, and then you have to go there for your fingerprints and, of course, to present your original documents.
Okay. Kelvin, Irish visa?
Yes, I believe you brought this up last time as well. You're very you want to come to Ireland as well, Clarence. Is that it? So, yes, we process not all types of visas, but some types of visas here. So we process the vast majority of what we call short stay visas. So visas for tourism, to visit a family member or a friend, or for an event or a conference. For long-term visas, those are processed back in our capital in Dublin. So the application is submitted here, and then we send it back for it to be reviewed there.
Okay.
The one thing we'd say about any visa applications we get is that we need to get them within a certain amount of time. So it's a minimum of 8 weeks beforehand, even for short stay applications.
Yeah. I wanted to ask the Swedish ambassador, but I can still ask you. You were closing down your embassy, but did you give it yet when you were active?
We did for certain types of visas,
Okay.
but like you said, now we're closing down, so now we're in a transition phase. So I will have to get back to you on how it will be handled going forward, because I can't answer that right now.
Okay, so let's open the telephone lines now. Let's hear from you. We got 12 minutes to go. Let's hear from Liberians. We're talking Europe Day celebration in Liberia, the European Union. We have these different ambassadors here. They're talking, and you heard their different interests of partnership to Liberia. They're working in youth, some of them working in health, in agriculture, and I asked them the general question about our country's potential. And it differs from one ambassador to another, but at some point they agree on, a particular thing, and they say one of our greatest assets is us as the people of this country. Let's hear you. Good morning.
Mr. Jackson.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And let me say good morning to all our distinct guests.
Yeah.
So let me appreciate your innovation and how we're always contending for the country. For the record, this is Samuel J. Kaplan I joined for Piso this morning.
Okay.
Let me appreciate all of them for their respective position and our respective country to our country growth and development. Here is my question, right?
Mm-hmm.
In your different TOR, what extra you think in store for Liberia in terms of development, in terms of human capacity building, in terms of other things that you are outlined that you think is in saving and Liberia to get to? And lastly, how do you rate our economic situation, our political affiliation, our social...
Thank you. Did you understand him?
Not really.
We were having to share these, so it was quite difficult. Zoltan could not hear it at all.
You understand him?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Well,
Can you just repeat it? What was the
We
question?
don't have enough of the headphones, so we can't hear.
Oh, okay. Good morning.
Good morning, Veteran Clarence Jackson.
Just call your name and go straight to the point.
Thank you. This is activist Martin Renner. And let me commend the ambassadors in studio. And I do join you from West Point. I got one question and one recommendation to all of the 4 ambassadors.
Ask the
in
question.
studio. Yeah, my first question here is, what is the assessment of the current Liberian government as it relates to our international relations and policy underneath the Joseph Imam Bouacar leadership? That's 1, 2.
But I think the French ambassador said that he's asking what is your fair assessment of Liberia as far as diplomacy is concerned. Yeah. Let's go back here. Hello. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning, Clarence.
Yeah.
Clarence, thank you for having me on your platform. I'm PRC Imadem Topacino of the Interlegislature of Montserrat County. Let me say good morning to the full distinct members of the diplomatic corps. I want to pose a question quickly to the Swedish ambassador, because I heard him say...
The Swedish ambassador.
The Swedish ambassador that is going to be closing down. No, I don't know. What is the case?
Just go ahead, Chief.
Can you explain to the public what is it, or it's just an ordinary transition, whether it is diplomatic thing that is...
Okay. Why are you closing down? Is it because of transition or something else? Let's go here. Hello?
Hello, Brother Clarence. This is Edwin G.V. Cannon.
Yeah, Cannon.
Calling for the Chigwele Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
I want to appreciate your guests, and especially the Irish ambassador, which I've always been in your country. I want to find out for him whether they can sponsor any individual that have been on the summer school, I have been on a summer school from the National University of Ireland, but this year I have not been opportune to be sponsored, and I got my document, but now it is difficult for me.
Can you sponsor a student who was attending the summer school in Ireland but cannot afford at this point? Just jot it down. Hello?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm Joseph K. Poland.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, I would like to appreciate all of the studio guests for their pleasant deliberation about their country impact in Africa, meaning Liberia. But really, I want to know what can they do to prevail on their concession agreement with our government, because these are things that we always hear that they say the European, the American, they always prevail on our government. What can they do to have the sign of great concession agreement for our country? So that
Did you understand that? What can you do in your respective countries to ensure when there are concessionaires coming from your country, the concessions are better for Liberia? That's a question. Now, this is a final one, then we'll go back to them. We don't have the luxury of time. Hello?
Hello, Clarence. Good morning.
Good morning. Final caller.
My name is Christopher Chigo, and I call from Brovia.
Okay.
I want to ask the German ambassador, what is still holding Germany or the ambassador for establishing visa session in Liberia?
Thank you. What is still stopping the German embassy from issuing German visa in Liberia? So maybe we can just start with you.
Well, thank you for the question. It's basically a technical issue that we have not digitalized our visa system fast enough, I would say. And now we're in the process of digitalizing it worldwide, but that is a major enterprise. We have 150 embassies worldwide, and we are starting with those where there are more visa requests. Liberia is a small country, so the number of visa requests is relatively small here. And you need to start in bigger countries where you can then test the technical systems. And if they prove valid in bigger countries, then we can roll them out also in smaller countries. So be patient. It will take some time, but it will eventually materialize.
Sweetie?
Yes, so I can start with a question of why we're closing, but I want to sort of link that to, there was, I think the first person who called in asked about sort of continued support in different areas, supporting, and I think even though we're closing down, we're still part of the EU, and the EU delegation and all of the other member states will still be here. And I'm sure Zoltan, my colleague from the EU delegation, can talk about the continued support that we're providing through the EU in different areas. But just to be very clear on why the Swedish embassy is closing, it's a decision that our government took in December. It has nothing at all to do with Liberia. There were some tough calls that needed to be made because our funding for development cooperation is decreasing, and we're also, because of the Russian invasion in Ukraine, having to put more money into our neighbor Ukraine, and therefore we're closing, not only here, we're closing development cooperation in 4 different countries, or 4 different other countries in the African continent. And it's nothing at all to do with what's happening in Liberia. It's just some very, very tough calls that had to be made. But again, let me also stress this point. We're not leaving Liberia. We will continue to be active in supporting Liberia and working with Liberia in other manners, just not through development cooperation.
Okay. Ireland?
Yes, so I might answer the specific question that was asked. I will have to thank the caller for the promotion who called me ambassador, but I will have to say that I am only the deputy. His question was, I believe, a specific one about he has applied for, if I heard it correctly, he has applied for and been accepted to a summer school run by the National University of Ireland, which is one of several different universities based in Cork, Galway, a couple of other places in Ireland. And he's asking, can we, the embassy, sponsor people to attend? So as a general rule, no, we don't sponsor people to attend summer schools. Our focus with educational opportunities is on the Ireland Fellowships Programme, whereby every year we sponsor a small number of outstanding Liberians to travel to Ireland to do master's programs fully funded by the government of Ireland. This year we expect to have 10 people traveling to Ireland for this. Our applications for the next cohort, which would be starting in September 2027, starting master's programs then, that application process opens this July 2026. But if that caller wants to try and ask and make a case, he can go to our embassy's website. There is a contact form there. He can fill in the details of his particular situation, and we will receive that and we can have a look at it. But I will manage expectations. It's not that likely that we can sponsor him.
Okay, let me take the Minister of Local Government, Francis Numale. He's on this line. I'm sure he wants to say something. Mr. Minister, good morning.
Good morning, Jackson, and good morning to our honorable diplomats in there. I wish I knew I would have negotiated with you to give them 2 hours instead of an hour. I don't know, I stand to be corrected, but for a team of diplomats in our country to get in studio, I don't know if this is the first time.
This is not the first time they've been here before.
For me, but I call to express our heartfelt thanks and appreciation for the role they continue to play in partnering with us as a government, as a country, in carrying the development of our people forward. But specifically, this morning, I called to extend my thanks and appreciation to the outgoing ambassador of Sweden and the Swedish embassy. We know they are shutting down, but we know they remain a part of the EU that will still work with us. At the same time, we want to recognize in a very special way the Swedish embassy, the Swedish government role play in the process, the program of decentralization in Liberia.
Okay.
They are our key partner, our key, followed by the Ireland.
Okay.
They've done extremely well, Jackson. So, in this open manner, I must appreciate them.
Thank you.
And I can assure you, Mr. Ambassador, at the time you are closing the Ministry of Local Government, we have a special reception for you. It's a very special program for you before you depart this country.
Thank you, Minister.
We'll remember you. And let me go further to say that my fundamental education, that's my primary education, was obtained from a Swedish mission school in Lofa County.
Okay.
So I owe them in that way, and
you owe the Swedish government and people a lot.
Indeed.
Mr. Minister,
And I
thank
can tell you, even when I became manager of the cooperative society in Lofa County, Swedish played a key role to carry people from my management for training in Sweden as far back as 1988.
You might not be around. Minister, thank you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. The Minister of Local Government. So, each of you, let's begin right here. As we observe Europe Day this year, what is that message you have for Liberia?
I mean, the main message we have is that the European Union is and will stay a reliable partner for Liberia and the whole African continent. I think what we see in recent years is that the dynamic and the whole logic behind our assistance to Liberia is changing. We have a so-called Global Gateway program. This is a huge project. All in all, on a global level, it's 300 billion euro. But what we are stressing that the small feel-good projects are gone. The traditional donor-recipient relations are also gone. And what we want to build with this huge money and together with our member states is a real partnership, a reliable partnership. This is the main message.
Ireland?
So, from the Irish perspective, I guess, I realize that to a lot of Liberians, Ireland seems like a small country very far away, but there are a lot of similarities. We're both small countries. We have identical populations, 5.2 million. and we are countries that rely on and believe in human rights, democracy, rule of law. Ireland has had an embassy here for almost a decade, and our partnership with Liberia is growing and strengthening. We had our first ministerial visit last year. We moved into a new embassy building last September. We will continue to maintain our development cooperation work while also increasing our political, cultural and institutional links with Liberia. Our commitment to Liberia is steadfast. It will continue.
Sweetie?
Thank you. Let me start by thanking the Honorable Minister for his very kind and appreciative comments. That's very appreciated, and I feel, quite proud and at the same time sad, of course, that we're closing down. And I want to just add that I think, coming back to what I've been saying earlier, our commitment or our cooperation with Liberia is not ending, even though the embassy here is closing down. And in the world we live in right now, where the increased competition and wars picking up, we need more of these partnerships and friendships between countries that stand together. So continuing to work with our friends and partners in the EU and countries such as Liberia is more important than ever, I think.
Okay.
Thank you. I had spoken about youth and about the economy. Now I would like to speak about women. Germany is supporting the African Women Leaders Network. There's a national chapter which has just applied for a project for this year, which I hope we can support. And I think I really want to make the case for Liberia's women. And they have not profited sufficiently from the peace dividend, having been among the main actors to overcome the civil war and to make peace possible. And you can tell, especially when you go to the countryside, we had mentioned our field trips, where there is sometimes a competition between customary law and organic law, that it is difficult for women to participate economically, starting with the right to buy land and to administer their capital by themselves. So a strong plea for Liberia's women.
Thank you. Finally, Ambassador Isabella.
I will say exactly what I said at the end of the kickball game at the launch of the EU week, that I wish deeply that our cooperation, EU, the member states and Liberia, is like the kickball game and the football game, energetic, friendly and fair play. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And this is how we will close down. Excellencies accredited to our capital have been here talking about Europe. I'd like to say thanks to all of you for coming, man. Thank you. And I know different institutions of the government and the Liberian people will join you as you celebrate. To the Ambassador of Sweden and the people, would like to say thank you so much. Every time we think about Sweden, some of us who grew up in Lamco think about the Lamco days. But thanks to all of you. Okay, tomorrow morning we'll be back here, man. Thank you for listening. They've been here, Sweden, the EU representative, France, Germany, and Ireland. My name is Piso. Bye-bye.